The following is a special presentation of Fox Sports Net.
College football Saturdays on Fox Sports Net. It's game time, baby. You ready? Let's go. You know when the action's on. Choose what side you're on. Speed and power, pure smart. Let's go. 1 yard, you change the R. Fans and cheerleaders are getting it on. Just yards to the zone. The game is on. 60 minutes on the clock. Players looking in. Still the rock. Let the defense run the run. QB trying to pass him up. Come on. The fans and mascots are on deck. College football Saturday is on net.
We welcome you to Lubbock, Texas, where football, let's face it, it is the only game in town. In fact, in the Lone Star State, that's all they care about from Friday all the way until Monday. But what a great atmosphere once again for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera, has a matchup of the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Wolfpack of North Carolina State, ranked number 16 in the nation. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Myers, and welcome once again to college football on Fox Sports Net. A rare matchup of the ACC and the Big 12, and last week it was Eli Manning making his way into West Texas. Today, we'll watch another incredible quarterback. Joining me now, my partner, Dave Lappman. I think when you talk about Phillip Rivers of North Carolina State, Cliff Kingsbury of the Red Raiders, two of the finest in all of college football.
Couldn't agree with you more, Joel. You know, in Phillip Rivers, he's the most efficient quarterback in the nation, and he's tracking for a new record in that area. Why? Because he's so competitive. He's a natural-born leader. Guys gravitate toward him. He's got a dynamic presence in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. And the thing about him, he's like a coach on the football field. He not only knows his assignments, he knows everybody else's assignments. On the flip side of that, Cliff Kingsbury, the thing that comes to mind about him is his toughness physically. I've seen him take some unbelievable shots, get right back up and compete and finish another play. And you look at him, he's quick-minded. He makes great decisions in a very, very timely fashion. He knows when, where, and how to throw the football, and he makes everybody else around him a better football player, and that's what quarterbacking is all about. We have two great ones today, Joel.
When we spoke with the Wolfpack's head coach, Chuck Amato, yesterday, he said they didn't have a chance today unless they won the kicking game. They do have an edge going in Terrence Holt.
Holt is amazing. He's got an ACC record, 12 blocked kicks. He's blocked 4 field goals, and he's blocked 8 punts. Whenever you have Texas Tech lining up to kick the ball today, they better look up number 9 in the white jersey, because Holt's going to be a factor. It
should be a close one between two great quarterbacks. We're only minutes away from the opening kickoff. First, though, let's head from West Texas to our College Football Saturday studio show with Chris Rose, Kellen Winslow, and Artie Gigantino. Gentlemen.
Ball plays both ways. Offense lines up a tailback. Leading rusher for the Wolfpack. On defense, he will play cornerback. This guy, does he have enough gas in his tank to go today? Can you do it, Greg?
I believe as long as my teammates push me and we push each other, we can do anything.
There we go. It should be a good one today. North Carolina State against Texas Tech. A shootout in Lubbock, Texas. The kickoff coming up.
Already the way he has his record in his third season, 19-9 already. And Mike Leach in his second year, and his third year in fact as well. Third year as the head coach of the Red Raiders, and he has definitely turned around this program. What a quarterback he's got out of New Braunfels, and that's San Antonio area. New Braunfels High School, Cliff Kingsbury. The black home uniforms, though, will that work against the Red Raiders of Texas Tech? If anybody's used to it, though, Dave, they've got to be used to it.
They've been very efficient at home against head coach Mike Leach. They're 11-4 in Mike Leach's tenure here at Texas Tech in Lubbock.
Welker, McCann, wait for the kickoff. It's going to hit. Will it find the end zone? Yes, for a touchback. That's a way to take Welker out of the return game. Angle it. And there is
throwing the tacos or the burritos or whatever, the Tostitos.
Well, if they're a little yellowish on the corn side, it looks like a flag from here.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. In fact, they're nice and soft because it's so warm. A couple of little beef in that.
You know, well, I had one on the way over. I hate to admit it. Walking over to the ballpark today, had a sausage wrapped in a tortilla. Anything in a tortilla is good. So the ACC and the Big 12. Man, what a matchup of quarterbacks. It doesn't get any better in college football in the Saturday afternoon in West Texas. If you like offense, Kingsbury and Phillip Rivers. Kingsbury always spreading them out. Man on a play fake. The little dump off. He's got a first down. Do you believe it? Boy, it didn't take long, did it? He went to Preston Hartfield. Cliff Kingsbury, already almost 1,000 yards over the first 3 games. Great percentage. And his skill guys, Munlin, Welker, Peters, Page, Francis, Loper up front. The 2 tackles with the experience, Keck and Loper. Cecil and Richards are the guards, and Dylan Gandy is the center.
You know, Joel, in that first snap, they went 2 tight ends. Now they're more conventional for them, 3 wideouts, but 2 tight ends the first play of the game.
They say he got out of bounds, so Welker takes it to the boundary, past the 40. He's got the first down on 2nd and 1. Well, we just saw the Kyocera first 11 offensively. Now, with the defensive unit, and are they going to be stretched today in the 4-3? Price, Hall, Martin, and Winston up front. The linebackers, some interesting assignments for these guys. Pollard, Burnett, and Thomas. And a lot of backpedaling for Reed and Hudson in particular. Maddox and Holt are the safeties. Terrence Holt, he's the big playmaker in the secondary. His older brother's had a pretty decent start to his pro career as well. Torrey Holt.
No question.
From the 42, Kingsbury on a double move, just off the fingertips, trying to get it to Mickey Peters. And he had him available.
Yep, he was in single coverage with Julius Patterson, and just off the fingertips, just overthrew him, Joel. And, you know, the play before that, they got the ball to Welker. And they're going to get the ball to him as many ways as they can, Joel, because he's got over 160 yards a game in all-purpose yards, which is 17th in the country. It leads the Big 12, but is 17th in the nation, so they want to get him involved.
They'll always spread the defense. This is almost like a tight formation for Texas Tech, though, on 2nd and 10. Munlin, boy, did they get a seal to the outside. And check it instead, Torian Henderson. The other running back in there. Munlin in earlier. He takes it all the way to the 49-yard line, short of the first down. Finally, a little more than 3. Henderson, a redshirt freshman from Gatesville, Texas. He won a Texas 3A state title for Gatesville High. So success before he ever got to the Red Raiders.
I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for North Carolina State. They haven't played the toughest competition to date to start with that 4-0 start, whereas Texas Tech has played Ohio State, the best team in the Big 10, and they played Mississippi, one of the better teams in the SEC. So they played at a higher level of competition. They may be more ready.
Out of the gun, Kingsbury with the pocket holding up. Making a miss to the 40-yard line. Wes Welker does it again. He is going to get a lot of touches. There's no doubt about that. Anywhere from 10 to 12 minimum per game for Welker. Saw him set up in the backfield that time out of the gun.
And he had Hudson, his shadow, all over him, but it starts with the pass protection. And look at everybody wires their opponent. North Carolina State is wired at the line of scrimmage. And look at the vision, the separation. That's a nice pocket. Vision unimpeded for Kingsbury. Looking down the football field, he could open the paper and read the classified ads, have a cup of coffee, and enjoy himself back there. And North Carolina State can't let that happen too regularly because Kingsbury will pick them apart.
From the 36 of North Carolina State, 1st and 10. Try reverse, and now a throwback reverse. Kingsbury is available to go. Instead, it's taken inside the 20-yard line. And with the first down, B.J. Simmons, the backup quarterback. He got it from Mickey Peters.
That was quite a little play right there. Little reverse pass. Kingsbury gets it back to his backup quarterback, Simmons. And watch the action here. Watch Simmons come out, and Kingsbury throws him the football. And really, if he'd let him a little bit, made him slow up to catch the football. If he let him a little bit, maybe a touchdown. So a little razzle-dazzle early out of the Red Raiders.
From the 18, Kingsbury, first time he's seen some heat. Now he can run with the football. Boy, does he have some real estate. For the 10, he's got a 1st and goal, going out of bounds at the 5-yard line. He broke away from Andre Maddox to get the necessary yardage for a 1st and goal.
Well, Joe, I think right now North Carolina State's defensive football team is a little overwhelmed with the size and speed of Texas Tech. And you can't lose contain. And took an inside rush right there, the blitzer did, and Kingsbury, once he saw the contain was lost, there was nobody on the edge. And talked about his ability to make quick decisions. Very quick-minded quarterback, tucked it and got very positive yards immediately.
Anderson in the backfield along with the H-back, Clay McGuire. They'll give it to Henderson. Nifty moves inside the 2. They try to strip it away. It'll be 2nd and goal from close to the 1. Terrence Holt held him up and waited for some assistance on that play.
And this is where Texas Tech's size of the offensive line, averaging almost 320 pounds per man, 2nd largest in the NCAA. The only line that has bigger average body per player is Fresno State. So that should be a factor here in this goal line scenario.
You remember what Chuck Amato said? We know they'll be able to throw the ball. Can't let them run, though. And they have been effective when they've tried on the ground.
Let's see what happens at the line of scrimmage here. Who gets under who?
It'll be a toss for Henderson. Making a miss at the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Texas Tech.
You called it exactly right, Joel. North Carolina State, Julius Patterson was there to make the tackle at the 5-yard line, but he couldn't finalize. And what Chuck Amato said, we have to beat them in rushing the football and yards after catch. And Texas Tech made defenders miss after the catch during the drive, and they made people miss. So yards after first contact in the running game and yards after catch were big in that drive.
So an 80-yard drive to start the day. Robert Treese tries to make it a 7-point lead for the Red Raiders. And what a start for Texas Tech, trying to knock off a top 20 team. So Henderson with the score. Kingsbury pushing all the right buttons. And the Big 12 on top of the ACC early. Soup that eats like a meal. The Red Raider, the heart of campus. As Sterling Hicks goes back deep along with Gregory Gibson. It is going to be Gregory Golden, in fact, bringing it back past the 10 to the 20. Good coverage downfield, though. And the Red Raiders stuff them at the 23. Well, Phillips Rivers has been absolutely amazing this year for North Carolina State. 9/2 touchdown to interception ratio, and he's only a junior. Golden, Moyer, Cotchery, Peterson, and Burton, his targets at the skill positions and up front. Colmer and Kustra outside, then Riggs and Locklear with Brandon Sanders, former walk-on, getting the start due to an injury at center and doing a good job over the first 4. Josh Brown starts at tailback. So not Golden, not McClendon, we'll see, but Josh Brown instead. They slide the tight end. And Rivers ready to throw on first down and going for the bundle. He wants Cotchery. What a grab by Cotchery inside the 30. He's got it to the 28-yard line, beating Ryan Aycock as he had to hold up slightly for the football. But he matched up against the safety.
He sure did. Cotchery made the adjustment to the football. Aycock couldn't. And Philip Rivers says, you know, they went on the big drive. We're going to come right back in a hurry. And he likes to get the ball downtown. You saw the hitch in the delivery that everybody's talking about. Drops the football, but you know, when he puts the ball in the air, he puts in a spot where his receivers have the best chance to catch it and not the defender. Nice job by Rivers there.
Could be an unbelievable shootout today.
Oh, man.
As it's down inside the 28-yard line of Texas Tech. They give it on the end around. Devontae Edwards bumped out of bounds. Took a shot by Joselio Hansen on the corner at the 25. Gain of about 3 on 1st and 10. Defensively, Adele Duckett, McKinney, and Anderson, along with Aaron Hunt, the big rush end, and their experience on the outside up front in the 4-3. Smith, Turner, and Flugent, the middle linebacker. He's a Butkus Award candidate. Sander and Hansen, who just made the stop on the edges. And Aycock and Pierce are the safeties. Nakia Serra started 11 defensively for the Red Raiders. Well, Hunt's got to have a big day. He's got to get heat on the quarterback from the outside spot. Josh Brown again with single on 2nd and about 7. Brown slowed down. Penetration that time. Adele Duckett turned him in. He didn't make the stop, but he put him off balance, didn't he?
Well, you know, the big factor for North Carolina State is the interior play, the 2 guards in the center. Let's take a look here. Look at the penetration. You know, when a running back sees a black helmet coming into his backfield. He has to make his first cut in his own backfield. That's a big disruption.
And McKinney actually stuffed it a little bit before Duckett could get involved.
And
so Rivers facing a third down and a timeout early.
McKinney was a former defensive end, slid inside now to play defensive tackle. You saw that first step penetration. Extraordinary.
So 4 minutes gone by. We've got a time into the field. Chuck Amato's squad's going to talk it over. What will they do when we come back? 3rd and 7. The Red Raider 25. Middle linebacker who got to him first.
And he blew a tire. David Rivers, or Philip Rivers, I should say, they ripped his left shoe right off his foot. So Flugents, this is a defense that defensive coordinator Greg McMakin has had a very big dose of success with when he was in the Seattle Seahawks organization. And he brought his middle linebacker, Flugents, who's averaging 20 tackles a game, brought him as a down lineman and blitzed. And Texas Tech calls a timeout, but he had North Carolina State's offensive line very confused with that configuration. You know, what happens, Joel, is as an offensive lineman, you have 51 Flugents as a middle linebacker, and you're accounting for him and your protections as a middle linebacker. All of a sudden, he lines up as a down lineman, and there's another guy at linebacker, so you have to recognize positions and not numbers. If you get hung up on numbers, you're in trouble.
So now field goal try coming up for Herbert, who's already 3 of 4 on the year. Got our virtual coach at college football use instant replay. There's been discussion on that. The only problem with that, not every game is televised with that many cameras to begin with.
Same in the NFL, though. I mean, you have some games that don't have as many cameras as others do. You know, you have the #1 broadcast teams in the NFL get more cameras than the number 8 teams do. And I agree with you, Joel. There is an inconsistency there, but I'm in favor of replay that can correct a very, very obvious big error that cost you a football game. I like the way the NFL is doing it now. If it's indisputable evidence, you know, you got to reverse it. If it's not, you don't. But you know, take care of the big glaring errors.
Now Herbert tries to get him on the board. He's 3 for 4. How about 4 for 5? Yes. And the field goal from 42 yards away, the longest of the season by 10 for Austin Herbert, the junior from Cary, North Carolina. So a 4-point deficit for Chuck Amato's squad. And it's interesting when we talk to Chuck Amato about his quarterback, Philip Rivers. It seemed like a lot of what he was saying was what we heard earlier in the day from Mike Leach. Both quarterbacks, Philip Rivers and Cliff Kingsbury, the starters for the Red Raiders and the Wolfpack, their dads were their high school coaches. So they come in and they have such a great presence and a great feel for the game to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they grow up around the game. So, you know, the film study on both of these guys is phenomenal and exceptional. They're great role models in that regard. I mean, as a son of a coach, high school coach, you know what it takes to prepare to play football, mentally and physically. And it's just, that gets contagious. And the rest of the teammates see how hard those guys work, mentally and physically, to get ready to play, and they follow suit. You know, you can lead football teams on and off the field, and both of these guys do.
Ivory McCann winning back, and they're going to pooch it away from McCann and Welker. Upman takes it, and a good return past the 35. Bringing it back, it's Thomas Bachman. He's got it close to the 40-yard line. Give him the 39. There is a flag down to the play.
Well, there's a little fade pattern right there. You get a matchup that's favorable. Now checking this action out. Pretty good deal. You have a situation where you have your rover in position to make a play. Julius Patterson, he can't make the tackle.
Call against the Red Raiders will deny them exceptional field position. A personal foul at the tail end of the play because the flag came about 10 yards downfield, the spot of the tackle. So Texas Tech, instead of their own 39, they'll have it at the 24. 15 yards the wrong way for the Red Raiders. So Kingsbury set to go after an 80-yard drive to start the day, and you just saw that final conversion, the 2-yard run, a touchdown by Torian Henderson. Kingsbury, good size. He'll play on Sundays just like Rivers at 6'4", 215 pounds. Senior from San Antonio suburb, New Braunfels. Setting up the screen. Man, off the fingertips of Henderson. Could have gone for big yardage, too.
Just a little bit low at the delivery. Couldn't make the low catch. You know, below his knees is a a tough catch to make.
Noxie, what's the latest with the injuries downstairs?
All right, real quick, Joe. Right now, look at the middle linebacker spot. Not in the game. Antonio Burnett out of the game. In the locker room, they're going to put a soft cast on his thumb. So a big blow right now to the NC State defense.
You're right about that. Burnett, they're a 4-year starter, a senior from Warner Robins, Georgia. He was second on the team in stops last year. 2nd and 10 for Kingsbury. What does he have all day? And now he can turn the corner. Good yardage. He's got a first down across the 35. He beat the big end on the outside, and once he got to the boundary, he got a little block as well from Wes Welker.
Well, and in talking to Mike Leach, to compare and contrast the 3 quarterbacks that he's coached, Kingsbury here at Texas Tech, Tim Couch at Kentucky, and Josh Heupel at Oklahoma, he said that Kingsbury runs the best. He's got the quickest feet, he's got the most foot speed in general, and he showed it right there. And as always, when you have a good run on the edge, a wide receiver down the field blocking people.
Kingsbury on first down. Quick turn in, and what a grab. Anton Paynes making the most after the catch, past the midfield stripe to the 49. Now, you were talking about the quarterbacks that Mike Leach has had an opportunity to work with. The presence of a big Tim Couch, a quiet guy. Just, he wanted to take people on. Like, I'm going to throw it past that safety.
Exactly.
And Heupel, analytical, almost like a mathematician. And Clint Kingsbury, a combination of the two. When he described Cliff Kingsbury, he said, great work ethic. He called him a real student of the game and connects very well with the entire team. Boy, great touch on that pass, wasn't it? Welker making a mess and close to another first down. It's the yards after the catch.
Exactly.
The key for Texas Tech.
Yeah, they were Texas or North Carolina State wanted to outrush Texas Tech, and they wanted to get more yards after catch than Texas Tech. And right now, it's not working out. Texas Tech is doing a good job of making the first guy miss. You know, when a receiver catches a ball in the open field, he turns into a running back. And Welker does a heck of a job because he's a great return guy. He's returned 4 punts in his career.
They get the first down. So 1st and 10 inside the 35. Henderson again. He's a powerful kid at 5'9", 190. The redshirt freshman from Gatesville, Texas. They've got another bull of a back they use. Foy Mullen. We'll see him later at 5'10", 230. They don't have many running backs on this program. They don't have any real tight ends to begin with either.
And really the offensive line, Joel, the size advantage, 320 pounds a man thereabouts is taking a toll on North Carolina State.
And they need their middle linebacker Burnett back. Henderson Berry. That little fake on the hitch over to the outside didn't fool anybody. Best penetration of the day by the Wolfpack. Holloway in there early.
Well, they get a flag on the play.
Also George Anderson, but as you mentioned, did they leave early?
Yeah, were they in the neutral zone before the snap of the football? I mean, there was great penetration. Or did Texas Tech's moving backwards based on that penetration? Did Texas Tech up front, desperation move, trying to stop the blitz and the pressure, hold and take somebody down? It looks like Tech is going to get called for that. Illegal use of hands or a hold.
It was a loss of about 3 or 4, so instead of 2nd and 13, 14, make it 1st and 20. Back to the 43.
And that's what North Carolina State's going to have to do. They can't line up and just 2-gap, take Texas Tech on right down their noses. They're going to have to move, blitz, stunt, and see if their quickness and speed can negate Texas Tech's size up front.
Kingsbury spreading the ball around for his 48 yards. And again, the pocket holds up well, but can't make the first man miss that time. So he sent it outside, finding his wide receiver. He got it to Carlos Francis. Good play by Lamont Reed. And that's what they're going to have to do, is get him in the open field because they spread it with so many different options.
Well, what North Carolina State did there, Joel, the pocket held up because they only rushed 3 and they dropped 8 into coverage because it was 1st in a bunch. Now it's 2nd in a bunch. So they played percentages, and they just took every possible throwing zone away from Kingsbury by dropping 8 into coverage.
Only a gain of 2. 5 different Tech receivers already with at least 1 grab. Kingsbury in trouble. He's got some room. He'll take off. And he's already close to field goal range. Out of bounds near the original first down marker. He'll go inside the 32. And it's still going to bring up 3rd and about 9.
Kingsbury really doesn't want to run the football. I mean, when you see him, when he's tucking the football and running, he's still got his eyes down the football field to deliver a throw. But North Carolina State is saying, look, you're not going to beat us by running the football. You're going to beat us by throwing it down the field. So we're going to give you some lanes if you want to run it and take a chance on getting knocked around. So far, Kingsbury's winning.
James Fitch is in there, the linebacker. Kingsbury spreads him with 4 wide receivers in the set, 2 to each side. They pick up the blitz, but Kingsbury's in trouble, and out of field goal range, sacked in the backfield. Sheldon Lewin got in, the young man from the Bronx in New York City. He's a junior at 6'4", 275 pounds.
And he showed some great closing speed there. I mean, they talk about the speed this football team has. Watch from the backside. Watch him come. Unblocked, he better get there. An assignment error for Texas Tech up front. You have to block from the inside out. And, you know, you got to block down as an offensive tackle. You can't block the guy outside. You got to block the guy inside of you. And as a result of that assignment error, Sheldon Lewin came in untouched and got himself a quarterback sack.
The Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Week, Clinton Greathouse, tries to put it out of bounds inside the 10. Angles it over to the near side. He had 4 inside the 6 last week, and he does it again. Unbelievable. How good is this kid?
Pretty good job by Haverty as well to get down there in position to catch that bounce before it goes into the end zone. Great effort on both ends.
Now, Chuck Amato said to have a chance they had to win the kicking game, and right now the edge of the kicking game, it belongs to the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, just like the scoreboard. Back. North Carolina State took a chance. They didn't put anybody back to cover that kick. Could have grabbed it at about the 10. Instead, they'll start at their own 2. Moyer and Brown in the backfield. It'll be a play fake. Rivers with time flutters it out. And what a nice grab by Contry to make him miss again after the catch. He's got a first down and a flag. He was popped at the end of the play. You talk about a big play now. This is going to be after the mark-off of about 15 yards.
Well, you got a flag back at the line of scrimmage as well. North Carolina State's offensive lineman took a late shot on a Texas Tech down lineman on E.J. Whitley. And I think North Carolina State's going to be penalized as well. But a lot of confidence in Rivers. You're in your own end zone. He fires a strike. Boy, is he accurate. He gets it exactly where he has to make a play. But at the end of the play, at the line of scrimmage, there was a penalty, and then there was a penalty on the sideline out of bounds. And you have to know where you are on the football field. I don't know if these will offset. You got personal fouls, I think, going both ways. Might be a redo. Got a clip. You got a clip in the offensive line up front, then a personal foul on Texas Tech.
Well, Hal Dowden's microphone is not working. It is going to work out well, though, for North Carolina State. And after all is said and done, they're going to have a first down. Let's see if they move it away, though. The mark it off half the distance to the goal, the first penalty.
And then mark off
the 15 yards on the personal foul.
Right.
So 1st and 10, and now breathing room. But what about the guts of Chuck Amato with Phillip Rivers on a play fake? As he told us yesterday, the kid handles the pocket really well. And what did he say? It was a few nights ago. He was ready to wrap things up, and he went down the hall and thought somebody was in the back, and it was Rivers watching film.
Well, the thing about Rivers is he's just like David Carr. He's married. He's got a young child. He's got about a 2 or 3 month old daughter. This guy's accountable to more than football. He's got people dependent on him, and I tell you, he answers the call every single time.
Rivers wants to work out of the shotgun this time. 6'5", 235-pounder. Emptied it in a hurry, didn't he? And hit as he released it. Good pressure in the backfield again. Adele Duckett, the sophomore from Mineral Wells, Texas, got to the quarterback. And also in there.
Watch what happens in the interior of the line. No place for Rivers to step up. The pocket's collapsing on him a little bit. And yes, getting in a hand on the football is Duckett. Duckett, when he was in high school, he averaged 30 points a game as a basketball player, and he won the state championship, and the shot put was 61-foot heave at 220 pounds. Very, very explosive man. At the top of the screen here. Explosive.
2nd and 10. They flood the zone. Good job, Contry, making a miss again. What a nifty move across the 30. Contry beating Ozaleo Hansen on the edge, and he gets the first down across the 30 to the 32. What moves by the junior from Birmingham.
Well, Hunt set a record last year. Watch the inside stunt. but it's a quick little three-step drop and the ball's out. But Hunt has had 20 sacks in the last 2 seasons. But look at that, the moves after the catch, 1, 2, 3. It took 3 guys to bring him down, and he made 2 guys miss. So 5 of the 11 defensive players had to get involved. And Hunt a little frustrated because he's beat his offensive lineman at the line of scrimmage. The ball was gone quickly.
It'll be McClendon's first carry. A little razzle-dazzle action as they go to the wide receiver, Hicks, and it doesn't work. So Hicks taking it deep in the backfield, brought the pursuit with him, and he stopped behind the line for a loss of about 4.
Well, Hunt runs like a linebacker, even though he's a down lineman. Here he is working off the top, and he's very disciplined. Stay at home, makes the read. Now he's involved in the play. That's a good play right there. You know what? That's a tackle for loss, okay? That's just like a quarterback sack. Quarterback sacks are the sexy statistic, but you know what? A tackle for loss sets the offense off schedule just as effectively. That's a big play right there behind the line of scrimmage.
Rivers with a loss of 4. 2nd and long, 6 minutes to play, and a wild start to a contest. After the play fake, it's Cotchery again. And is it Burton instead?
Yeah, it looked like
it
the big
was.
tight
It was
end.
the tight end. It was a senior from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, 87, not 82, 6'4", 260-pounder. His head coach said he's as physical as any tight end in the country.
Well, he transferred from West Virginia, and then he's got as many knockdown blocks. Here he is right here, right at the end of the huddle. As many knockdown blocks and pancake blocks as the big offensive lineman.
Well, do they try to hammer it here, Dave, on 3rd and a couple? A little more than 1, almost 2. McClendon sets up in a deep tailback spot. And an audible by Rivers. It'll be McClendon. Made a miss in the backfield, spinning all the way past the 50.
Wow.
Almost broke it.
Man.
What a job. Touchdown saving tackle. Raymond Pierce, the free safety.
Well,
what a job by T.A. McClendon.
Yeah, he did that all on his own, and he blew a tire as well. Those left shoes keep falling off. McClendon going to the sideline, holding his shoe in his right hand that's off his left foot. But Lamont Anderson, the big down lineman for Texas Tech, got penetration. And I thought he was going to throw it for a loss, but just a great cut. Boy, he planted that left foot, T.A. McClendon, to get up the football field. And now it's just, here he is being special. I mean, this is a true freshman who rushed for 170 touchdowns, a record, high school record in his career.
178 overall, as you mentioned, 170 on the ground.
Amazing.
It'll be Josh Brown this time. Good moves. Josh Brown with 11 for a first down inside the 35. Pierce made the hit. Deep in the secondary, though. It's all the way to the 33. Why do I get the feeling this early in the game, the last one with it's going to be the winner?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Chuck Amato's liking what he sees here now because he's getting some yards after catch, as well as out rushing Texas Tech right now. And let's see, when you tackle people, you get your, oh, that's a face mask right there. You get your hand up around the headgear, and very, very fortunately, Aycock wasn't called because he could have been.
From the 33, 1st and 10. The drive started back at the 2-yard line of North Carolina State. And there's 4-point lead for Texas Tech. Rivers with a quick stop. And the catch inside the 30. Rosalio Hansen jolting Cotchery, who has been a favorite target early, and that's not a surprise. Lapham, I know you're all over the fights on that one.
I'm telling you.
Moving nicely. Boy, did he work the pocket well. Rivers finding Devontae Edwards buying some time. He wanted to go downfield. That was not his first option.
Well, that's the thing. Another quick-minded quarterback. You know, you talk about quarterbacks with quick releases, quick feet. Give me a quarterback that's got a quick mind, you're going to win some football games. And both of these quarterbacks are quick-minded. Joe Montana didn't have the strongest arm in the world, but boy, did he have a quick mind, the quickest I've ever seen. Knew where to go at the football immediately. Both of these quarterbacks are cut of that cloth.
So now 3rd, a little less than 2. Need to go close to the 18. McClendon the single. T.A. should be able to get it, and he will. And check that down to the 20. Needed to go inside the 23. They'll say his knee was down to the 21. 1st and 10 anyway. North Carolina State. They have really had a balanced offense on this drive.
They sure have. And T.A. McClendon, T.A. in high school stood for touchdown anytime, anywhere. I mean, man, he just was a scoring machine. And he's coming off a shoulder separation. And he's gotten back to where he's got strength in that shoulder. He can lower those pads and hit people.
So now 1st and 10. Last time, North Carolina State had the ball. It's stalled. They settled for a 42-yard field goal. They punch him on the wide side, and that's where they go. Nice catch and run. All the way inside the 10-yard line. Devontae Edwards, a sophomore from Chapel Hill, brought down from behind by Ryan Aycock. Sit back in that lazy boy. First and goal from the 9. McClendon again. 2 tight ends set with a single to each side. McClendon, big move. Breaking tackles, will he take it? Yes! Yeah. Touchdown, North Carolina State.
Wow.
The Wolfpack with the lead.
You talk about finishing a run, Joel. You can't arm tackle this guy. I mean, McClendon has got some natural power, and he finishes everything hard. Take a look at the offensive line getting started. Little cutback was designed to go between the left guard and the left tackle. He cut it back and just ran through the tackles at Texas Tech. Little swinging, fake the swinging gate here for the extra point. They're going to line up and go conventional. Chuck Amato's got a bag full of tricks now.
So now to go up by 3. Herbert splits the uprights. And there is a flag down to the play.
Looks like it's going to go. Texas Tech is clapping, and it's going against North Carolina State. It's like it was holding on the edge. They called holding. So this extra point is going to be from a deeper distance than the conventional chip shot.
Little leverage play as he tried to. He wanted to use one of his players to block it.
Watch the jumper here. Watch what happens. Watch how North Carolina State attacks him. And they call holding right. Yeah, he took one high, grabbed his leg, and just deposited him unceremoniously. Sean Locklear, you can't tackle him when he's airborne like that. He didn't use a teammate to jump up. He jumped on his own, grabbed him, and threw him down.
So it's going to be a 30-yard try, and it's just inside the upright. Not exactly automatic that time on the extra point. Still it works, and North Carolina State puts together a 98-yard drive.
Time for Chuck Amato. Do you go safe and kick the field goal if they are short, or do you show the confidence in the offensive line to hammer it in there 4th and less than a yard and keep the drive going? Big decision for him on the road. I think he might kick it if it is short. But he said, his comment was, we're going to play this game to win. We're not going to play this game not to lose. So he may decide the offensive line's coming off the ball well, and I just got a little bit that I have to get done. Big decision for Chuck Amato. Which way is he going to go? Is he got confidence in the big hogs, or is he going to kick it? And I think he's going to go. Chuck's saying, I got confidence in you guys.
Well,
let's go after it.
The way McClendon's been running the football.
And the offensive line coming off the ball well. Nothing fancy, just inside zone stuff, just double teaming the defensive lineman and rubbing off to that linebacker. And big play right here.
He wants to really gamble. A little play fake with Phillip Rivers. Rivers hitting almost 70% of his passes coming in today. And he's 11 of 13 so far this afternoon for 132 yards.
Yeah, his pass efficiency is well over 200. The college record is about 183 pass efficiency set by Sean King of Tulane. He's in position to shatter that pass efficiency record for a single season.
So they try to spread the defense. McClendon the single. Quarterback sneak, 1st and 10. That was a good count, and we don't even know if it was a silent count or not. It could have been the way the quarterback, Rivers, got a jump.
Exactly. What they do there, what you're describing, Joel, there is he comes up to the line of scrimmage and just gooses the center with his hands. And at that point, there's not any dialogue or any conversation that goes on. When he gooses the center, away he goes. The only guys that know what's going on are the quarterback and the center, and that's a walk-on center performing well. Brandon Sanders coming off the line of scrimmage well in that quarterback sneak. 6'5", all you have to do is fall down.
And by the way, you don't have to physically demonstrate that snap either.
How about that?
Quarterback draw. Rivers waited for the block, didn't get an extra though. And now, does he hold on to the football? Yes, as they stack him and try to tear it apart at the 10. It'll be 2nd down after a gain of only a little more than a yard. Well, they went after Rivers, and he's a little unhappy.
Rivers, the competitive fire burns deeply in the heart of that young man right there. He's got a capital C on his chest for competition. And he's not going to back down from anybody or anything at any time.
Two to the wide side, Country in the slot with Hicks out wide. It'll be McClendon. Well, they slow him down. Finally they do. They stretch the field. First time they've been able to put him down. Mike Smith, the outside linebacker.
Oh, McClendon has been a factor all day long, and watch how he finishes runs. I mean, you're not going to arm tackle this guy. He'll run right through the arm tackles there. He scored a touchdown, and he just will not quit on any particular carry. He says, I've got a limited number of carries I'm going to get, and I'm going to make the most out of every single one of them. Remember, he's coming off a separated shoulder, and he may have gotten nicked up a little bit when he was thrown to the turf, bending over. I don't know if he just had the wind knocked out of him or if that separated shoulder is nicked up a little bit.
Or the heat finally getting to him as well. He's worked so much. Now, third down, little screen underneath. Great call is right to the 5 and almost a touchdown. Taking it in, Devontae Edwards. It'll be down at the 3. They say his knee touchdown instead of first and goal. It'll be fourth down coming up.
Well, what you think here is the defense is going to blitz. Look, they're all close to the line of scrimmage, so they run the little bubble screen. And everybody blitzes, and there's nobody left. Look at all the blockers and very few black jerseys down the football field. Tremendous call. And boy, he's smelling pay dirt. Can I get there? Tries to balance himself up. Just he double dribbles, bounces into the end zone, but down at the 1.
Well, one linesman had it at the 3, the other finally. As you saw in the replay, he got it to the 1-yard line. It's first and goal. Moyer, McClendon. It'll be a little misdirection action. McClendon. Did he get there? He's in 2 shot. So he didn't get it that time, but it's only a matter of time. 6 minutes into the second quarter.
And you may think about that quarterback sneak again, up and over with Rivers at 6'5". I mean, he's got such a long body. You can get any surge up front. He can go up and over and just extend that ball over the goal line. Remember, the ball just has to cross the goal line, the tip of the ball in the front of the white line of the goal line. That's all you have to have is break the plane.
Second and goal.
The tip of the ball right here at the front of the white line. That's all you have to get.
Quarterback sneak touchdown. North Carolina State and Phillip Rivers.
I'll tell you what, the thing that Chuck Amato was talking about is, more than anything else, we have to be more physical than Texas Tech. They're from the Big 12. They're a physical football team. We have to compete with that level of intensity and physical nature, and they are.
Little did we know they'd be able to play keep away, though, with a 98-yard drive, followed up by a 67-yard drive.
Look at the swing and gate once again out here. North Carolina State, and then they come back to a conventional formation. They can run a play off that swing and gate and get a 2-point conversion if Texas Tech doesn't cover it effectively.
Herbert out of the hold of Young for a 10-point lead. And that's the story right now for the Wolfpack. So North Carolina State with 17 unanswered points, leading by 10 with 8:22 left in the half. It's going to be Golden. Across the 25. Nice open field moves. Past the 35. So Greg Golden puts him in good field position. Josh Rangel making the stop. And North Carolina State outside of their own 35-yard line, getting it for the 5th time this afternoon.
This 7-play, 37-yard drive for Texas Tech. Taking a little over a minute off the clock, but Joel, as you described, a low line drive kickoff, very, very tough to cover. It comes right back at you quickly. You have to get better hang time than that. A lot of pressure on your kickoff cover team.
Well, they go back to work with McClendon. They will, and McClendon's got some room to move. McClendon takes the pile, doesn't he? All the way close to the 45-yard line. Give him a little more than 8 on first down. Second and short, McClendon again. And he won't get back. Yes, he will. Boy, he never loses a yard, does he? The two ends converged, Adele Duckett and Aaron Hunt, but he still got plus yardage out of it when it looked like he was going to lose a yard or two.
He's got a great instinct of splitting defenders. I mean, he makes a violent cut with his right or left foot, whichever one gets him up the field quickest. Squares those shoulder pads up and always splits defenders. He's incredible. Let's take a look at the cut. Plants that left foot. Up the football field he goes. Low pad level and splits defenders.
I think a violent cut's a good assessment. He can really turn it. Now, going to get a yard. Breaking tackles. Unbelievable. made two miss in the backfield. He doesn't get it, but he got away from Flugents, who had the early penetration. Duckett as well. That is finally stopped short of the first down by Smith, the outside backer, but it took 2 or 3 to slow him down.
That's the best run I've ever seen for a half-yard loss. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything better than that. The first guy never brings him down, and Rivers is upset on the sideline, not taking advantage of a 3rd and 1 conversion. So, boy, got to be better than that in his opinion.
Welker going back again, waiting for the punt from Herbert. From the 15, Welker cracked, crossing the 23. And what a shot he took from Cotchery, the wide receiver.
Another starter on special teams. That's the starting wide receiver on punt coverage. Watch the peel back block coming right. We missed it. What's the peel back? The peel back block was extraordinary. And watch, you know, when you're a punter, you're going to get your head on a swivel. That was close to being an illegal block in the back. But you can't just jog downfield thinking, you know, everything's a great summer day here. Nobody around. You can get your ear hole taken off.
7-point deficit. Henderson stopped after a short gain. A little more than a yard. U.S. Postal Service game stats in the 7-point contest. And North Carolina State, well, getting it together on the ground. 75 yards so far. The surprising part, you didn't think Tech had as many, did you?
No, sure did.
117. Good floater. And close to a first down. Pull down from behind is the wide receiver.
The ones that you forget about is Welker on those reverses. Those are big chunks, and they go in the rushing column.
And Henderson actually, but you know, that's a nice touch pass, isn't it? Catching your man in stride.
That's the key, is allow them the opportunity to do something after catch.
Now for the first down, it will be a first down. That'll stop the clock at the quarterback sneak by Kingsbury. He lost it, but they're saying he's down already. Still one time out of the board for Texas Tech.
And remember, the clock stops in college football after a first down, so you have 4 downs to work with. You can spike the ball. There's many ways you can still move this football.
They bunch 3 on the wide side of the field. Kingsbury has Solo on the near side, though. And a low throw. Too tough to come up with for Nehemiah Glover.
Glover, he was there. Kingsbury trying to thread it between 2 defenders, safety and corner in the zone. And watch Glover work his way into the zone here, trying to right between these 2, and Kingsbury's trying to filter it in there. And Texas Tech's got a very easy formula. When it's man, you continue to run. When it's zone, you settle into that seam and make yourself available to the quarterback.
On 2nd and 10, only a 3-man rush. Man out of bounds anyways. He wanted Page.
Yeah, he was just chucked out of bounds by Golden.
Good idea. Put him out. He's gone for the play.
Yep. He can't be the first one to come back in the field to play and touch the football. And Golden, I mean, he's returned kicks, run the ball, he's played corner. He's getting a few snaps today, number 22 in the white. Here he is down here, whoops, at the bottom of the field. Got a good shot of him right there.
Well, earlier this year, most of his play came offensively at tailback. But because they need extra D-backs today with all the wide receivers of Tech, it's the other way around. Now, can Kingsbury get to the marker for the first down? I don't believe it in a quarterback draw. We've talked about how heady he is because, let's face it, he's not a burner to begin with.
And, you know, his rushing yards crept up in that 117-yard total a few plays back as well. And this is a design play, quarterback draw, as you described, Joel. And, you know, he looks like he knows what he's doing out there. It's not like it's foreign to him.
Saving their timeout. Clock starts to move. He's got a man downfield if he wants it. And in trouble, Kingsbury better get rid of it. He's put down. He's got to throw it away. And how about a completion for a first down to Page? He's got it inside the 38. Resourceful again. So he got away from Lamont Reed.
I'll tell you, I got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line on that play, Joel, because nobody leaked down the field. Very easily in a situation like this, when your quarterback is running around crazily and you don't know if he's going to, you know, try to get it up the field and get over the line of scrimmage or not, you have a tendency to get downfield to make a block to help them. Nobody got downfield illegally. They did a nice job of staying where they needed to stay.
So now a timeout has been taken. Final timeout used by the Red Raiders in the 7-point ball game. But you talked about the big guys. Mike Leach, he used to coach the offensive line. He likes him a little bit.
Well, watch him here. Watch from the quarterback. You know, now they're saying, where's my quarterback? And you know, now he's in a little bit of trouble. So now, is he going to get sacked? Do I go down the football field and throw a block? Oh, now he's free. Oh, get back. Don't go down the football field. Nobody crosses the line of scrimmage and allows him to throw the ball down the field in a legal manner and complete the play.
Coming up, the Nissan halftime report. We'll head to the studio. An update from Chris, Kellen, and Artie. What about the band from Raiderland? We'll have scores and highlights from around the nation. Jim Knox will help us down to the sideline. That's all at the half. So Tech has one left. There's only 15 ticks left on the clock. And the Raiders finally got their defense to get the offense back on the field. They made some plays. In fact, the last two possessions for North Carolina State, 3 and out with a punt. First time in the game they've not picked up a first down on a possession. But will they surrender 7 or 3 here in the final 15 seconds?
Got to take a shot at the end zone.
No timeouts, and that'll ripped away. It'll have to be covered, and that'll do it. Sean Price covers it. And Sean Price, rather than the left end, forced the fumble. And that'll do it for the half.
He's special. Sean Price runs a 4.440, benches 440 pounds, and has a vertical jump of 37 inches. That is an athlete and a half right there.
Well, we had Tech down to 0, but obviously Tech does have one more timeout, and as you mentioned, now it will be the tip drill. He'll throw it towards the end zone. So from the 47, huge loss. A loss of almost 20 yards. It'll be the final snap barring a penalty. It'll be 2nd and 22 as they gave away 12 in the forced fumble. And now the tip drill. A lot of white jerseys. And on the deflection, it's knocked away. As that was a very entertaining start to the contest. So it had North Carolina State up early, then Texas Tech up early, then North Carolina State took over. And North Carolina State's head coach right now downstairs with Jim Knox. Jim?
All right, thank you, Joe. Coach, you got to be extremely pleased. Offense really moving the ball on this Red Raider defense. Rivers over 150 yards pass. McClendon well on pace for a 100-yard game.
No question about it, but you know what? We've got to stop the running game of their football team, or this thing we'll have a lot of fun down the wire.
I appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Coming up next, the Nissan halftime report with Chris Rose, Kellen Winslow, and Artie Gigatino right after this quick timeout.
What a start for Phillip Rivers. You know, we brought up the situation where everybody questioned his form. And let's face it, Dave, some question the level of competition for North Carolina State, the number 16 ranking. Boy, after the first half, I don't think you question it anymore.
Well, you can't question his heart as a competitor. I mean, he showed that in the first half big time. This guy will do anything to win the football game.
You know, we threw out our Dr. Pepper trivia earlier in the first half. The other Texas Tech quarterback to throw for better than 400 yards. Scratch golf for Billy Joe Tolliver.
How about Billy Joe? And he did it twice. Back when they weren't running the spread offense, he threw for over 400. That's pretty strong.
So Billy Joe Tolliver. Think about Bam Morris when you think of Red Raider football recently. How about go back to the 60s? Donnie Anderson.
Donnie Anderson,
the Packers out of this program.
Byron Hansbard, good running back out of Texas Tech. And there was a guy that played defensive line, was a #1 pick with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Gabe Rivera, senior sack. Had a tragic car accident that paralyzed him. He would have been an unbelievable football player in the NFL for years and years if not for that car accident. Too bad.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of help for Cliff Kingsbury, whether it was drops or getting to him in the pocket.
Well, he showed his toughness early on, and this is the kind of hits that he's taken in his career and get back up for more. But now they're catchable footballs. Are they? That's definitely on the receiver right there. This one a little bit low in the seam of his zone, but a catchable football. So I think what's happened is Rivers' teammates have stepped up and supported him a little bit more than Kingsbury's have. So particularly McClendon for Rivers, he's been a big factor. Somebody's going to have to step up to support Kingsbury like others have for Rivers.
Well, the slight delay we had, now we're ready for the start of the second half. They had problems with the clock. They have rectified the situation at the opposite end. So that board is going to be down. You can't deny us, though. We are ready to go. Golden and Reed waiting for the kickoff. Robert Treese. Got a line drive, don't forget. Will it be Reed? Man bringing it out. Golden, couple of yards in. Indecision, doesn't make any difference. There he goes. Great return across the 40-yard line. So the two-way player, Greg Golden, who's started at tailback for him this year, and he's been in the secondary today, brought down by Ricky Saylor. Almost went 102 yards.
Well, he's played a little running back, some cornerback, and a definite factor in the return game as a kick returner. He's been a three-way guy. He's done it all.
Now, the one thing Chuck Amato emphasized to us last night more than anything else was special teams, the kicking game and returns.
Dictating field position, they have.
Rivers out of the gun. Tons of time, and underneath, grab is made by Sterling Hicks. Good yardage by the sophomore. Two in the area, one underneath, one about 7-8 yards downfield. They flooded that side effectively.
Exactly. They do a good job of flooding a zone and outnumbering Texas Tech and others, and let the very, very intelligent quarterback make the right decision. And he does instantaneously almost. He gets the ball out of there very, very quickly.
And Dave, let's face it, there's been very little pressure on Phillip Rivers today.
Exactly. North Carolina State's offensive line has held up well.
From the 47 of Tex, a little misdirection. Skipping through it is McClendon into the secondary and barely tripped up. Wow. Pierce gets him the free safety, but did he go through Flugent again?
Yeah, you know, Flugent is a guy that is a very, very sure tackler. It just shows the excellence of McClendon, because Flugent is just arm tackling him, and McClendon's just busting right free of it. Little misdirection counter. The guard pulls, backside tackle pulls. Here comes Flugents, and actually he's taken to the ground. He does try to trip McClendon up, but McClendon got that high knee action. He steps right over that arm tackle of Flugents. Pretty good effort by McClendon. Nice job by the offensive line to chop Flugents to the turf.
Opening things up, they empty the backfield. Rivers finally some heat and finds his man over the middle, Hicks. He's got another first down to the 19-yard line. Not a bad ad-lib. So Sterling Hicks helping out his quarterback, finding a little space in the middle of the field.
And really, you have to play pass defense as well as run defense against North Carolina State. And he's trying to read Rivers' eyes, does Flugents, and he's just drifting a little bit. Throws the ball right into a seam between he and the safety. Tell you, Rivers is very, very patient. Lawrence Flugents is a great football player, though. He's averaging over 20 tackles a game for this football team, and he's led the Big 12 the last 2 years and was fourth in the country 2 years ago. Been very, very productive for Texas Tech.
Senior from Klein, Texas.
Got an injury. You got an injured Tech player at the 20-yard line.
So Flugent, second team All Big 12 last year. They look at a injured Red Raider. And we've got a time onto the field. Come right back. Wolfpack driving once again.
Payne.
This drive started after a great return by Golden at the 42-yard line of the Wolfpack. Now they've got it second and about 8. The 17-yard line of Texas Tech. Rivers with 3 on the wide side. Flooding the right side, going to the short side. Hicks makes a miss. Good move downfield by, in fact, Peterson for a big gain of 1st and goal. Jim Knox, what's the latest?
All right, Joe, good to see Ricky Saylor back in the game. The defensive back went off the field. Just one play, breath knocked out of him. He's back in now. Talked to Mike Leach coming off from halftime, and he told me they'd got to wrap up on T.A. McClendon. So far, that's not happening here in the second half. He is gaining some big yards.
Well, he is, Jim. Yards after contact for him and yards after catch for the receivers. Two things that Chuck Amato wanted are happening for his offense.
It is McClendon once again in the backfield. They slide the fullback. And they finally get him in the backfield, but still a yard for McClendon with Adele Duckett down around the ankle.
You know, one thing that North Carolina State did is they moved a couple of defensive linemen to the offensive line. Both guards are former defensive linemen for the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and they weren't just guys. You know, they played significant snaps at defensive tackle and defensive end, and they bring a nasty mentality, you know, up front to that offensive line. They like to pancake people in that running game, and McClendon's benefiting.
Rivers calling out assignments. What a configuration. Quarterback draws there if he wants it. He saw it down to the 3-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 3.
It wasn't by design, Joel. You're right. I don't think it was a play call, but the Red Sea parted for him, and the offensive line does a good job. He goes through his progression. Now he says, "Hey, you know, I can get something done down the football field." And he's a big guy now. I mean, he can take a hit. 6'5", 235 pounds.
And they stood him up at the 3. He fell forward. You're right. He got it all the way down to the 1 where it's 3rd and goal. So that brings McClendon back into play, doesn't it?
Sure does. And Rivers as well. He snuck in from less than a yard out, but he came here for 2 things, Joel: to beat the Red Raiders football team and to meet Bobby Knight, one of his boyhood heroes. And he loves Bobby Knight. I don't know if Rivers was able to get that accomplished or not, but
well, Bobby's at the game.
You would think it's not surprising to me that the son of a high school football coach has a lot of respect for Bobby Knight, you know, in that discipline. Let me ask you, Joel. You know, he wanted to meet Bobby Knight. If there's anybody in the world, you can go back to the beginning of time, male or female, who would you want to meet? Think about that a little bit.
Second. Midas. Leaderboard as far as offensive scores are concerned, and Phillip Rivers accounting for 14.
That's amazing. That's productivity right there.
Derek Anderson and Oregon State are going to be on Fox Sports Net next week.
And look who else was in that top echelon. Kingsbury with 9.
Now the toss sweep. McClendon. They stretch it. He can walk in. Timeout paid off, didn't it? Touchdown, North Carolina State.
Great job of blocking by North Carolina State. They got Texas Tech Red Raiders on the ground. I mean, you know, you can't pursue if you're on the ground. And there was some chopping going on. They were falling like big sequoia trees. And McClendon, he would have scored in touch football. Nobody laid a fingernail on him. Look at that. Here comes the swinging gate again. It's swinging. But it's swinging shut. They're going to kick the extra point.
Austin Herbert in. Junior from Cary, North Carolina. And it's a 14-point lead. The largest of the day for either team. State had an early 10-point lead at 17-7. And North Carolina State trying to raise the record to 5-0. Gets another score from McClendon. 24-10. On first down, they pound McClendon down to the 17-yard line. And why not? The kid was so efficient in the first half. All 5'11", 215 pounds.
Playing with a damaged left shoulder. Had a shoulder separation. Playing through pain.
This drive started after a great return by Golden at the 42-yard line of the Wolfpack. Now they've got it second and about 8. The 17-yard line of Texas Tech. Rivers with 3 on the wide side. Flooding the right side, going to the short side. Hicks makes a miss. Good move downfield by, in fact, Peterson for a big gain of 1st and goal. Jim Knox, what's the latest?
All right, Joe, good to see Ricky Saylor back in the game. The defensive back went off the field. Just one play. Breath knocked out of him. He's back in now. Talked to Mike Leach coming off from halftime, and he told me they got to wrap up on T.A. McClendon. So far, that's not happening here in the second half. He is gaining some big yards.
Well, he is, Jim. Yards after contact for him and yards after catch for the receivers. 2 things that Chuck Amato wanted are happening for his offense.
It is McClendon once again in the backfield. They slide the fullback. And they finally get him in the backfield, but still a yard for McClendon with Adele Duckett down around the ankle.
You know, one thing that North Carolina State did is they moved a couple of defensive linemen to the offensive line. Both guards are former defensive linemen for the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and they weren't just guys. You know, they played significant snaps at defensive tackle and defensive end, and they bring a nasty mentality, you know, up front to that offensive line. They like to pancake people in that running game, and McClendon's benefiting.
Rivers calling out assignments. What a configuration. Quarterback draws there if he wants it. He saw it down to the 3-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 3.
It wasn't by design, Joel. You're right. I don't think it was a play call, but the Red Sea parted for him, and the offensive line does a good job. He goes through his progression. Now he says, "Hey, you know, I can get something done down the football field." And he's a big guy now. I mean, he can take a hit. 6'5", 235 pounds.
And they stood him up at the 3. He fell forward. You're right. He got it all the way down to the 1 where it's 3rd and goal. So that brings McClendon back into play, doesn't it?
Sure does. And Rivers as well. He snuck in from less than a yard out, but he came here for 2 things, Joel: to beat the Red Raiders football team and to meet Bobby Knight, one of his boyhood heroes. And he loves Bobby Knight. I don't know if Rivers was able to get that accomplished or not, but
well, Bobby's at the game.
You would think it's not surprising to me that the son of a high school football coach has a lot of respect for Bobby Knight, you know, in that discipline. Let me ask you, Joel. You know, he wanted to meet Bobby Knight. If there's anybody in the world, you can go back to the beginning of time, male or female, who would you want to meet? Think about that a little bit.
Second. Midas. Leaderboard as far as offensive scores are concerned, and Phillip Rivers accounting for 14.
That's amazing. That's productivity right there.
Derek Anderson and Oregon State are going to be on Fox Sports Net next week.
And look who else was in that top echelon. Kingsbury with 9.
Now the toss sweep. McClendon. They stretch it. He can walk in. Timeout paid off, didn't it? Touchdown, North Carolina State.
Great job of blocking by North Carolina State. They got Texas Tech Red Raiders on the ground. I mean, you know, you can't pursue if you're on the ground. And there was some chopping going on. They were falling like big sequoia trees. And McClendon, he would have scored in touch football. Nobody laid a fingernail on him. Look at here comes the swinging gate again. It's swinging, but it's swinging shut. They're going to kick the extra point.
Austin Herbert in, junior from Cary, North Carolina. And it's a 14-point lead, the largest of the day for either team. State had an early 10-point lead at 17-7. And North Carolina State trying to raise their record to 5-0. Gets another score from McClendon. 24-10. McCann waiting for the kickoff. He won't see it, though. It'll be taken by one of the up men, and that's Bachman looking for a block. Good return by Bachman onto the 35-yard line. So Texas Tech finally gets their hands on the ball for the first time in the second half. 4 minutes gone by in the 3rd quarter. That's one way to beat a good quarterback. Make sure he's still on the sideline.
Absolutely. Keep his helmet under his arm. And another 8-play. They had an 11-play drive for 98. 8-play drive for 59, almost taking 4 minutes off the clock. That's big time. And not only are they eating the clock up, they're scoring touchdowns, not settling for field goal. They're putting it in the end zone now.
More conventional look for Kingsbury with 2 tight ends. Even though they don't have the truly 2 tight ends. And a fumble on the snap. Picked up by North Carolina State. Coming away with it. And maybe going the distance. The linebacker, Sean Price, will he take it in? Touchdown, Wolfpack.
Well, he runs a 4.40. And once he got a clear lane, he was gone. He was up the alley. And it's falling apart for Texas Tech when you can't get a center quarterback exchange clean. And the ball is fumbled at the line of scrimmage. It's not your day. And North Carolina State, their second takeaway of the day, and they score a defensive touchdown. And look, it's just a bad snap, kicking the ball around, picks the ball up. Now he says, I'm going to score. I'm turning running back. I see golden goalposts. I'm going to be a hero here.
Loper had the best chance at him.
And Price just shows that speed. I mean, he runs well. 2 takeaways, 2 touchdowns. You know, that's a third of the scores for North Carolina State in the season have been set up by the defense or big plays in the special teams, and they scored a defensive touchdown right there that's just a killer for Texas Tech, and a big play for North Carolina State.
Well, they told us Sean Price is the strongest player on the team, and he looked like it. The way he peeled away from that big lineman.
He's a freak of nature. He benches 440 pounds, yet runs a 4.40, so he's got the strength of a big defensive lineman and the speed of a running back. That's a size-speed ratio nightmare.
So a return of a little more than 30 yards after the fumbled snap. Boy, he knew what to do with it, too. Herbert for the point after. And now, all of a sudden, it expands to a 21-point lead. Well, look back at the previous score, where there were some nice adjustments before the snap by North Carolina State.
Look at the bunch, and then they shift. And then look what happens here, Joel, as the defense tries to shift with them. They come a man short. Down blocking, a bunch of guys hit the ground. Watch the cut blocks on the crackbacks. Everybody down blocks out of that bunch. And watch, you'll see bodies start falling for Texas Tech. Boom, boom, boom. Now, how can you pursue? You can't. Easy lane, touchdown. Everybody's on the ground. Great job of blocking by the Wolfpack. And then followed up by can't get an exchange, center quarterback exchange. The ball's kicked around. The athlete, Sean Price, the freak, the mini freak, picks it up, and he breaks the tackle, runs into his own man, and says, hey, I can score. I'm going to score. He did.
Well, his directional kicking has worked out well for North Carolina State. As Kiker will do it again. Bachman in the same spot, puts it on the ground. Did they recover again? Yes.
Unreal.
Another turnover. Disbelief. Coming up with the football for North Carolina State, Corey Dawson, the linebacker. So North Carolina State getting it in Texas Tech territory after the quick exchange.
North Carolina State now +3 today on the turnover department, and in Texas Tech -3. And this one's just second hit. Boom, right there, the big defensive tackle covering kickoffs. Ronaldo Moses puts his helmet right on the football and knocks it free. Big play out of the kicking game once again. North Carolina State dominating all phases, offensively, defensively, and the kicking game.
Boy, Chuck Amato looks like a prophet, the way he preached to us. Got to win the kicking game. And we talked about it at the very top of the telecast.
And he said we have to be physical. And boy, are they being physical.
But Blendon making a miss. And finally, they get him at the 27-yard line after a gain of 1. Noxie, what's going on downstairs?
All right, more bad news for that Red Raiders defense. Clayton Harmon on the bench right now. He's not even in pads, guys. Street clothes in his jersey. A bad back. He is through for the day.
6'7", 287-pounder with a bad back. You know, and I don't care how big and strong you are. If you have back problems, it's the great neutralizer, equalizer.
Empty backfield for Phillip Rivers on 2nd and 10. The lateral pass. Quickly to Cotchery. He doesn't mind contact. We've seen him on special teams, and he's got it close to the 21-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short.
Chuck Amato's got to be thrilled to death. I mean, this game is unfolding for him, particularly here in the start of the second half, exactly how the doctor ordered.
And it's not like big plays. It's the little things they're doing well. The pooch kick, pin the guy to the boundary, and then scrape it away.
Yep, and they've done, they've really hit people. And here you have a defense coordinator, Greg McMakin, that's a fine football coach, but right now he's in a whole lot of trouble trying to stem the tide here, the onslaught by the Wolfpack.
Rivers on 3rd, a little more than 3. Throwing behind for one of the few times, trying to get Sterling Hicks.
Looked like he expected Hicks to settle in the zone, and Hicks kept floating toward the middle. And they're talking about it right now. Rivers expected him to settle in, and Hicks kept taking it toward the middle of the football field, and Rivers ended up throwing it behind him.
So a rare breakdown of the passing game for Phillip Rivers and the Wolfpack. It'll be a 39-yard attempt for Austin Herbert. He's already hit a 42-yarder, his only try of the day. Blocked. So they deny points on the turnover. It looked like Aaron Hunt may have been the one to get to it.
No surprise there. You know, the best athletes make the big plays, and Aaron Hunt's a heck of a player. I think it was recovered by Hansen. And Hunt, I think, blocked it, and Hansen came up with it.
So Aaron Hunt on the block. Red Raiders get it back at the 27, and they need it.
Yeah, this was huge. And Hunt right here, that's just poor technique by North Carolina State. You know, Joseph Gray, the big tight end, you have to block down, step down inside. You can't let an athlete like that inside of you. And just poor technique of not stepping down inside and sealing it up.
Kingsbury, better exchange this time. dumping it off the page. Nothing there. 3 up to the 30. Good gang tackling. Led by the weak side backer, Pat Thomas, a sophomore from Killian High School in Miami.
You know, there's another similarity between these two teams, Joel, with Texas Tech and Coach Leach. In 10 of his 28 games that he's been head coach, he's gotten a touchdown from his defense or special teams. And for Coach Amato this season, 1/3 of his scores have been set up by a big play by the defense or special team. So they live off all 3 phases, not just offense, to score.
Anderson, short side of the field toss, and it will work. Great pursuit, Pat Thomas again. So Thomas all over it. He looked like a running back with that kind of speed.
This guy's excited, Chuck Amato. Great linebacker in his playing career, collegiately at North Carolina State, head coach of his alma mater. He went down to Florida State last year and beat his mentor. First school that ever beat Florida State in an ACC game down in Tallahassee. And he was emotional after that football game, and he's getting a turnaround quickly for his alma mater at North Carolina State.
And you talked about it earlier. 5 true sophomores start on the defense. Now Kingsbury in trouble. Eluded it again. Flag down in the secondary, and it's thrown away. I think we're going to see a defensive holding call from the field judge.
The pressure that Kingsbury was in trouble was Sean Price. I mean, the guy is just living in the backfield now. He's all jacked up. We're meeting in the Zebras. Look at the convention. Yipe stripes.
Flag thrown way downfield. Deep in the secondary. Now will to keep Kingsbury on the field. They failed to convert on 3rd and 7.
You know, the North Carolina State Wolfpack doing a good job of defending this spread offense as well as anybody has in the recent past. Picking the flag up.
Terrence Holt real upset. You could see the ball was not in the air when the flag was thrown, and maybe that had something to do with it as well. We're in West Texas. This matchup between the ACC and Big 12 College Football Saturday, presented by Kyocera on Fox Sports Net. And all ACC right now. North Carolina State beating Texas Tech to the punch.
North Carolina State's overall team speed. It's very, very fine.
Cotchery waiting for the punt from Clinton Greathouse. Should be good field position, and they're after it.
Yeah.
Greathouse sends out the wobbler. Cotchery got the block he was looking for at the 35. Another one at the 40. Good wall down the sideline. Great field position. Will be brought down from behind, but another short field to work with. The ball all the way to the 30 and late flags.
Yep. Little frustration flag coming in, I think, and I don't know if they're going to call celebration or a late hit on Texas Tech. We'll have to find out. But another thing that Chuck Amato talked about, Joel, was winning the hidden yards, field position. Their average drive start, the Wolfpack, is much, much better than Texas Tech over the course of this football game. They have dominated field position, hidden yards.
So personal foul.
Tried to, in Greathouse here, tried to fake the fact that Holt ran into him. Tried to win an Academy Award there, and there was no harm, no foul.
He was his own man was backed into him.
Right, and Holt was blocked in. Holt just bull rushed his man back in, and Holt was kind of pushed into the fray. So now a little frustration foul on Texas Tech, and you have an extremely short field for Philip Rivers and company. I keep wanting to call the great guard from Notre Dame, David Rivers. I keep wanting to do that. But it's Philip Rivers, and he is one heck of a football player.
And now Texas Tech. They say Tech has taken a time. Mike Leach was the punt of the one called for personal foul at the end of the play.
Watch Greathouse right here at the bottom. See what he does. See what happens here. And he's gonna get back into the mix. Oh, little late hit for Greathouse, little cheapy. And he unloaded though. You know, Greathouse played defensive back in high school, and he went after the main man, Sean Price. He said, you know what? I don't like that touchdown you scored on us and that fumbled exchange. I'm going to make you pay. Well, he had to pay. He got a nice shot, but it cost him 15 freebies.
So it goes all the way down to the 15-yard line. The ultimate for North Carolina State. And this early, Dave, 7.5 to play in the third.
Well, the body language is all in North Carolina State's favor. I mean, they're prancing around the field. Their feet are barely touching the field, whereas Texas Tech, their hands are on their hips, their shoulders are slumped, and their chins are on their chest.
T.A. McClendon. He's already got 2 rushing touchdowns. Little trap play. Breaking through to the 10. First and goal at the 3. He gallops his way through a hole, doesn't he?
Well, he sure does. Very little wasted motion. I mean, he makes these subtle cuts and generating a lot of speed up the football field and power with those subtle cuts. He is the real deal. Chuck Amato's found himself a diamond in the rough there, and everybody said, you know, hey, 170 touchdowns and rushing touchdowns in high school, 178 overall. He wasn't playing against any good competition. Well, he is now, and he's still productive. He can play.
So they've got a true freshman in McClendon. Phillip Rivers, don't forget, is only a junior. It's not Burton. Burton, the lead blocker. McClendon didn't need much, though, did he? Touchdown. North Carolina State. And the second consecutive time he went into the end zone untouched.
And it all starts up front. You know, you get a little bit of a surge in the tight field, and you have to get off the football very well as they do as a group. And look at them sustaining the blocks. I mean, they're engulfing Texas Tech. Texas Tech, nobody's separating from the block and pursuing and making a play. I mean, their finishing blocks are the Wolfpack, big time.
Herbert's right leg's got to be getting weary. He makes it a 38-10 lead for North Carolina State. 6:58 left in the third quarter in Lubbock. Can he hang on to it? He lost it last time, don't forget. He's across the 35. Give him about the 37. And you never know where Jim Knox is going to pop up, do you? Knoxy?
Yeah. No, not at all. I'm almost near you guys, high above Jones Stadium, guys. That's right. Construction underway, as you mentioned earlier. A brand new press box will be in play by next season. This is going to be nice. They'll have 47 luxury boxes, club level seating, indoor, outdoor. And get this, the press box will be exactly like the Nebraska Cornhusker press box. They got the same blueprints from Nebraska. You know, in Nebraska's press box, guys, they got a restroom named after a certain play-by-play guy. I'm throwing in the hat early. I'm going to nominate Dave Lapham restroom right here at Jones Stadium in Lubbock, Texas.
Page inside the 45 with the first down to the 44.
I like the, you know, Knoxy looking fine as always in that coat and tie, but the accessory with the hard hat was finished it off.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I'm telling you, Knox, that finishes that outfit. You are the man.
It looks like they gave the guys a day off, so I may help them a little bit. Do a little work up here for a little bit, all right?
Get the jackhammer out, bro.
Got it.
Kingsbury out of the gun on first down. Tough pop. Taking it in, and can Mickey Peters get up? That was a heavy hit by Freddie Autry-Lindsay, a senior, or a sophomore rather, from High Point, North Carolina. He's up, fortunately.
Yeah, he's woozy. Looked like he took that jab from Frazier. And down went Mickey Peters. Whew, that was a shot. Now, Mickey Peters threw a touchdown pass, or threw a pass that set up a score for Texas Tech earlier in the game, but he took a shot on that reception.
Kingsbury on the shovel. They've got the first down. Plenty more. Inside the 20-yard line, D'Antonio Burnett finally getting to Terrion Anderson.
One thing that you know is Mike Leach has got plenty of plays up the sleeve. And it's a draw set basically with the offensive line. Built right in there behind the big boys. And it's a safe play because if it's incomplete, it's not a fumble. It is exactly that. It's an incomplete forward pass if you don't complete that shuttle pass.
Shift Henderson on the sweep. That was an audible call. And a gain of about 5. So let the pursuit slide by. It'll be 2nd and 5 at the 15. Well, for Texas Tech, let's face it, to get back into the game down by 4 touchdowns, they need very short scores.
They do, and I don't think it's you settle for field goals anymore down 28. This is 4-down territory. I mean, you got to pump the ball in the end zone no matter how many downs it takes you. You can't kick it.
No huddle. 2nd and 5. Kingsbury spreading them out on the wide side. Tough catch. First and goal. Nice catch at that. Taking it in. It was Preston Hartfield, the senior from Alvord, Texas.
Julius Patterson just could not quite finish. Nice ball by Kingsbury, though. Very tight spiral, and catch is one thing, but then make the tackle. And he didn't get either done. Catch was made, and the tackle was missed, and yards after catch went to Texas Tech on that play.
Inside of 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. That's the only plus right now for Texas Tech to play off of. But there is plenty of time left. It'll be Henderson. Tripped up right at the line. Second and goal, caught it at the 5. George Anderson making the hit.
Texas Tech will still spread you out. Even though you're inside the 10-yard line, they'll run 4 receivers and get people out of the box, defensively and make you cover folks. That time, North Carolina State get off the blocks inside well. Make a play. Look how they spread you still.
Kingsbury into the corner. Page is there. Touchdown, Texas Tech.
Good call, Joel, because Page is 6'4". And even though North Carolina State has big cornerbacks, they don't have anybody 6'4", and just got the ball up high and said, back corner of the end zone, get it done. In coverage was Maddox, and Maddox is 6 feet. 4-inch height advantage for Page. He finished. It's not even a fade. It's just, Page is in the back corner of the end zone. He just said, Kingsbury said, run the back of the end zone. I'm going to get it up high to you. You get that 6'4", 4-inch body and go up. And he did. Nice elevation.
Treese for the point after.
Let's go.
It is now a 3-touchdown deficit. 38-17. North Carolina State. I've seen stranger things happen, partner. 4:10 to play.
You're exactly right, and especially with the explosion capabilities that Texas Tech has. And Mike Leach has got a bag of tricks. He may have to pull a few out. They have to dig down deep into that bag.
Well, we had an opportunity to get together yesterday with Mike Leach and got his thoughts on a young man who's been with him and been successful, Cliff Kingsbury.
I think the biggest thing he does well is he makes the players around him better, which I think is the biggest role for a quarterback. And then the other thing, he's really a student of the game, great work ethic, and I think he's continued to get better each step of the way.
Well, Kingsbury has shown his toughness to us. Dave, we had him last year a couple of times on Fox Sports. Now, he took a shot at Nebraska. I didn't think there was any way in the world he could stay in the game. He got up and he continued.
Yeah, and I mean, he probably felt some of those hits right down to his skeleton. I mean, it just rattles your bones. But this kid, he gets up. He's resilient. He's like, you can't knock him out of there. He's like Gumby. He's so flexible.
Greathouse to kick it away. Golden and Reed waits. It'll be Golden from the 1. He just had a great return and runs up the back of his own blocker. He just slows him down momentarily. He's put down to the 24. Again, though, not great kick coverage. If he doesn't run up the back of his own blocker, he goes to the sideline. He's got a huge return.
You're exactly right, and Golden has been exactly that. I mean, he's gold star on Golden's forehead today for all his contributions on all 3 phases, offense, defense, and kicking game. He's been special for them.
3 touchdowns already in the second half of Phillip Rivers, and, well, 2 of the 3 by the offense, of course. Sean Price scored the other on a bobbled snap. Now can they chew up some clock? That's what they'll try to accomplish with T.M. McClendon. Burt with a tight end. Good move. Slipping inside to go past the 30 to the 33 and a gain of 8 on first down. Put down by Ryan Aycock. Burton's a big guy at 6'4", 260. Senior from Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
Aycock was in coverage on Burton, and right from word go, Aycock fell down. Burton caught the ball, and Aycock scrambled to his feet and pursued and made the play. But, well, you can't hit the turf when you're in coverage. That's hard to cover people when you're laying on your belly.
Second and short, and all they want to do is just keep moving the chains. Consume 5-6 minutes on the clock. But they finally got to him in the backfield. They had made for Texas Tech. Jason Wesley, the junior from Houston. A-Leaf Elsick High School. Boy, that's put out some players.
Wesley is known for his abilities in pass coverage as a linebacker, but that time he blitzed.
How big is this third down now?
Stoned it. This is huge.
3rd and 5 to give some hope for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Now Oregon against just any quarterback, though. Oregon against the guy that was #1 in the nation in passing efficiency coming into the game.
Little false start.
Yes, left side. Rivers is saying that Coleman, the left tackle, was brought off. There was inducement there.
He's not going to be able to sell that, though. It's a good try.
Left side line.
That's a
Riggs and Coleman over there, the guard and tackle.
tough microphone for our official today. You know, Rivers, though, he's been flowing. He's been in a nice flow that has that Rivers. I mean, he's done a good job with this offense. And this is where Rivers makes his money, so to speak. Not literally, figuratively. I mean, these are the plays, 3rd and long. These are the plays where he steps up.
3rd and 9, ball back to the 25.
Slot blitz coming. Moved again. Moved again.
The blocking assignments called out by Phillip Rivers. He was concerned, you could see. So now it's going to be 3rd and 14.
You know, you remember Mike Singletary with those eyes? Look at Flugents. Flugents is taking it all in. The computer's clicking. Flugents is making his adjustments. And then Rivers says, I'm going to adjust to your adjustments. And Rivers is dictating protections and pointing out blitzing linebackers and telling McClendon who to block. And then they jumped off sides, so it was all for naught.
3rd and 14. He could take it outside of the 34. And Rivers barking on a hot read. The blitz from the outside. Rivers eludes the pressure. And it's intercepted, no. Dropped to the 40-yard line, almost taken away from Cotchery. Great play defensively, though.
Excellent effort. Broke on the football very, very well. Good route recognition.
What a play by Ozelio Hansen.
Hansen gets inside, has the route recognition, breaks on the ball. But the one good thing that Cotchery did was he reverse rolls and battled him, and at least knocked him down.
Herbert. Welker backpedaling. Can he make something happen? He'll use the near side boundary. And good field position across the 45. So North Carolina State failed to pick up a first down. They just wanted to chew up some clock. Minute 23 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Welker has got 4 punt returns for touchdowns in his career, Joel. He had one this year of 72 yards, so he did establish at least decent field position for Kingsbury and company.
And they need some touches for number 27 in the offensive set. He saw the ball early in the game in their first scoring drive when they led 7-0. But he has not touched it all that much in the offense since that 80-yard drive.
He's averaging over 10 yards a carry. He's had a couple of reverses from that slot position for big yards.
He gets it now, and they bury Wes Welker. Well, that worked early in the game, but a good adjustment is on the play. George Anderson, along with Autry Lindsey. Dr. Pepper, Big 12 Players of the Week. Cedric Benson against North Carolina.
Wow.
51 points for Mac Brown's squad, going up against the team he coached for 10 years. 208 yards. Newman getting it done for Kansas State on the defensive side.
Look at those return yards. 147 kick return yards as well. Big game.
Now, problems on the move. Bowie finds Page. Flag down in the secondary in the middle of the field. Page has got enough for a first down, but what about the flag?
Holding against the defense will be declined. The play gained more yards than the penalty would, so they'll move the chains. And Kingsbury did a good job of feeling the pressure on his backside and getting away.
Well, the reason for hope, of course, for Texas Tech is they do have one of the best 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the country, Cliff Kingsbury. So he can get them back into it in a hurry. He just did it. A 2-minute drive. As they covered 65 yards, finished it off with a 5-yard pop into the corner to Anton Page. Meeks is in the backfield with Kingsbury. He's got his man available. And off target, trying to get it to Trey Haverty, the sophomore from Richardson, Texas.
Well, we've seen both of these quarterbacks, Joel. They're not known for their jackhammer feet and great speed, but they can work the pocket very well. Slide step, they've got that elusiveness, the escapability. They both have a good clock in their head. You know, they can have a sense and a feel for, oh boy, it's about time. Some pressure should be coming my way. I got to do something. And they get it done very consistently.
2nd and 10 for Kingsbury. Welker the motion man to the short side. They wanted the middle screen, and it's thrown away. There's plenty of contact all over Meeks.
There's a battle going on at the right tackle position for Texas Tech. Got his hands full, Casey Keck. He's working against Sean Price. And those two guys are, I mean, they're going at each other now. And there's always, you know, as a former offensive lineman, the play in the pits, it's the game within the game. And there's some interesting matchups always at the line of scrimmage. Kingsbury nowhere near his normal yards that he generates in a game. Below average for him. And that's credit to these guys. North Carolina State's defensive unit.
Over the middle, it's available. First down. Haverty. Wow. Are making Hartfield taking the pile down the 10-yard line.
Man.
Hartfield, what did he drag him, about 10 yards?
That was a rugby scrum. I mean, he had to have played rugby in his career because they could not bring him down. Everybody was up high, and he just gave, you know what? They all should give him a quarter for that ride. He should at least collect $1.50 because, you know, he was the ride at the amusement park and just took him for a big one. Man, Hartfield just kept his legs driving, and what a play.
They can't pick up a first down. It's not first and goal with the ball just inside the 11. How about that for conversion, though? Because you know it was 4-down territory anyway.
So, yeah, it's got to be that way for these to protect the rest of the game.
Big shield over the backfield behind Kingsbury. The fade into the corner for Page on his fingertips.
Once again, going to the guy that's 6'4". Page, and he's a tough guy to cover. Golden's nowhere near his height.
So that is going to be the final snap of a huge third quarter for North Carolina State. Now, will Texas Tech duplicate that with the fourth and final 15 minutes of regulation? They're close. Trying to make it a 2-touchdown game when we come back. They'll have it. 2nd and 10 right at the 11. After 3, though, 38-17, North Carolina State. To the inside for Kingsbury. Movement. It should be a flag. No flag thrown. And now off the fingertips.
Wow.
Of his intended target. He tried to get it to Carlos Francis. And there is a late flag.
Roughing the quarterback. Roughing the quarterback. No offsides, but roughing Kingsbury.
And that was on our side, Dave. I didn't think he got back in time. The end on the near side.
I didn't either.
Welcome back once again to sunny Lubbock, Texas. What a matchup it's turned out to be. But this is the ball game for Texas Tech with only 9:59 to play. 4th and 10. To the inside for Kingsbury. Movement. It should be a flag. No flag thrown. And now off the fingertips.
Wow.
Of his intended target. He tried to get it to Carlos Francis. And there is a late flag.
Roughing the quarterback. Roughing the quarterback. No offsides, but roughing Kingsbury.
And that was on our side, Dave. I didn't think he got back in time. The end on the near side.
I didn't either. And North Carolina State had 10 men at the line of scrimmage. But Kingsbury, he handles the shotgun snap. And boy, that's a tough call. Looked like he was just finishing momentum, finishing his charge. Man, Winstead, who had 2 back surgeries, loves to play the game and wasn't going to give up on football, gets called there for a tough one.
Well, was it a shot to the face, though?
Yeah, that's
true. Did he go to the cage?
Did he go helmet to helmet? You're right, because it certainly wasn't late.
From the 27.
Look at this, Joel. 10 on the line of scrimmage. 10 guys up on the line of scrimmage. There's only 1 safety in center field. That's how aggressive North Carolina State is on this snap.
Kingsbury with time, trying to burn him. Puts it up for grabs. Is it going to be another flag? Yes, as he went for Wes Welker. And Hudson is called.
Yeah.
If he locates the ball earlier, I don't think there's a flag.
15-yard penalty in college football. And North Carolina State, the last couple of snaps. Look at this. And one center fielder back, you know, about 10 yards deep, 12 yards deep. And everybody doing their thing. Here's the isolation. Kingsbury going there with the football. And he gets his head turned, but late, Hudson. But that left hand, he's really dragging that right arm of intended receiver Welker with that left hand. So they're calling that hooking action. Left hand to right arm is the interference.
So they've converted on 2 4th downs. 1 bypass, 1 by penalty, and from their own 30-yard line, Texas Tech still with a shot. They've got it 1st and 10 to the 12, and plenty of time on the clock, 9:47. Don't forget, though, only 1 timeout for each team. It'll be Henderson. Down to the 9. Give him the 10. That's it. Gain of 2. So plenty of east-west, not enough north-south. And it'll be 2nd and 8.
Mike Leach now lamenting the fact that Texas Tech at the beginning of the 3rd quarter took a nap. I mean, they fell asleep. They just lost.
Absolutely right. They came out of the locker room and they weren't ready.
They lost their concentration. They lost their focus. And, you know, now they're trying to just scramble to get back into it in the 4th quarter, and they put themselves in a deep, deep hole.
28-point deficit. They're trying to trim it down to 7 with 3 straight touchdowns. Changing at the line, shifting Henderson. And into the corner. Jump ball knocked away from the little guy. He wanted Welker again, and Welker's not a big guy at all. He's only 5'9". You know, Terrence Holt got involved.
Joel, one thing that Texas Tech does up front, they take mammoth splits. Look at these line splits. I mean, this is the 10-yard line. Look at the splits they take, widening those pass rushers and creating as big a pocket as they possibly can for Kingsbury, and did a good job of protecting. Holt almost made the play on the football. I'll tell you, he's a fine safety. There's no question about it. He'll be joining his brother in the National Football League on Sundays.
Well, Mike Leach told us, watching film, he's never out of position. Terrence Holt.
Yep.
3rd and 8 from the 10. Will they have enough time? Underneath. Henderson tries to make a miss, and he's down to the 5-yard line. Terrence Holt did it again.
Great open field tackle. One-on-one, broke down. That's a training reel right there of how to tackle in the open field and not miss. Great play.
Comes right after we mentioned what the other head coach tells us. That kind of respect for Holt.
And he is the quarterback of the defense. I mean, he gets everybody lined up properly, and as you mentioned, Joel, never out of alignment himself. Knows exactly where he's supposed to be at all times.
So the 3rd, 4th down of the drive. Will it start at the 5? Kingsbury looking over the middle. Now into the corner. Has a man. Touchdown, Texas Tech. Mickey Peters.
Joel, that all started with great protection up front. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury held that ball for a long time, allowing that pattern to develop all the way across the back of the end zone to the corner. And, boy, they gave him an unobstructed view of the corner of the end zone, and look at that football. Couldn't be thrown any more perfectly. Absolutely outstanding touch, beating the linebacker Lawson. They got a matchup they wanted, wide receiver or tight end Peters on linebacker, and got it done. And Peters is not your typical tight end. He's 6'3", 211, so he's like a big wideout working against linebacker.
Now we've got clock problems once again, and this is on. The only clock that was operating. The end zone to our right, the end zone that Texas Tech just went into.
Yeah, that's
the other clock.
Look at that. That's a freeze up there. I think the cannon, when they shot the cannon, it blasted the scoreboard. Geez, I hope they're not cutting wires or something in there.
Now, Jim Knox may be involved. He was up in that construction site area, and once he takes over, Knoxy, what's the latest? Well, Knoxy is trying to make his way down from the scaffolding.
Yeah, he's doing. He's working the jungle gym right now.
8:09 left in regulation, and I bring up regulation because it could happen. Believe it or not. Down by 28 at one point. 5-yard pass to Page, 2-yard run by Meeks. Now a 5-yard pass to Peters. Well, 21 straight for the Red Raiders.
I thought we'd have a shootout, and we certainly had a shootout. And, you know, taking this opportunity, Chuck Amato never taking it. You know, he's smart. I mean, he was around Bobby Bowden, who, you know, he called him. He said working for Coach Bowden was like working for a Pulitzer Prize winner if he was an author. I mean, he was that good. He said what he did, his biggest attribute that he learned from him was to hire good coaches and let them coach. And right now he's working the officials. Well, he may want to call later in the game that's going to go his way, and he's working the officials right now.
Tell you what's going to be interesting, Dave. How about the Big 12 referee for this game? His microphone has not worked the entire day. How are any of us going to know how much time is left in this game if it's going to be called on the field by the referee?
That's a great point.
Here we go. Is it a 7-point lead for North Carolina State? Treese with the point after. And do you believe this? It's only a 7-point lead for North Carolina State. Dave, you said it best. Kingsbury put the touch on it. He's got a magical touch, doesn't he? Will it be a winning touch? Are we sure the phone's still working here at Texas Tech?
Really? You know, there's a lot of things under construction here. I hope they're not clipping wires. Look at the protection here. Watch Kingsbury in the pocket. Now, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 4, 5. I mean, he's into infinity here. Look at that protection. And finally, he decides that takes a long time for that to develop. A crossing pattern across the back of the end zone. I mean, it's impossible for a linebacker to run in coverage for that long. And Kingsbury made a beautiful throw and an excellent catch, but the first thing that he did was go up to his offensive line, I'm sure, and say, hey, boys, heck of a job. I mean, I had a day and a half, and I appreciate every second of it.
So we do know there's right around 8 minutes left in regulation. But another stop is required. Sterling Hicks going back deep, along with Lamont Reed. Greathouse, the punter, will kick it away. That is unofficial. 8:09 left. Line drive out of the end zone. That's exactly what Texas Tech needed. No returns because their kick coverage hasn't been all that special to begin with. North Carolina State, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Now, what North Carolina State has to do, in spite of the big momentum that Texas Tech is enjoying here, they have to say, look, if before the game we were told we'd have a 7-point lead with 8 minutes to play, would we take it? You better believe it. So let's finish this. You know, we're in position to get done what we came down here to get done. Let's not get caught up in the momentum that Texas Tech is enjoying right now. Let's create some of our own because we're in position to finish this thing.
And all they need, let's remind everybody, if they get 3, it's over. Only 1 timeout remaining for each team. McClendon, the only one in the backfield. Can he run the football when they need the most? Without a doubt. Now he needs to stay in bounds. He gets 5, but he should have gone down in bounds. Mike Smith knocked him out.
You're exactly right. The freshman will learn that. And all he has to do is go down, you know, even if it was not by contact, because you hit the ground in college football, you're down.
So they take it across the 25. See if they keep it on the ground. You got to believe they will. Although working out of the shotgun, McClendon does stay in the backfield. Moving the pocket by design, and Rivers had a man early. Now in trouble and overshoots his intended target, Kocheri.
Now, did he throw that away to avoid the sack? Yeah, but were the receivers in the air, and did he get it past the line of scrimmage? Yes. So therefore, no intentional grounding.
His indecision cost him, though, early in the pattern.
You're right. And Hunt was all over him. Hunt was draped all over him like a new suit and forced that incompletion.
So now 3rd and a little less than 5. A lot of people left when it was a 28-point deficit for the Red Raiders. Those that have stuck around, they can't believe it either. Right now, kind of delirious. Rivers with Moyer and McClendon in the backfield. Then blitz off the edge. Rivers has a man wide open. It's Kocheri.
Wow.
Kocheri may go the distance. Needs a block. Inside the 20. And he'll be knocked out of bounds inside the 5 at the 2-yard line.
And Rivers going right up to Hunt and saying, you know what, you're a great player, but I just made a great play. Amazing effort by Rivers. Rivers and Hunt talking about it. Man, I'll tell you that Rivers is a competitor, boy. Capital C. And Cotchery, gosh, what a job he did with yards after catch. I mean, the pressure's extreme. And watch Rivers, cool, calm, and collected, step up in the pocket and buy a little time. And just before he takes the big lick, that's some arm strength. I mean, he really can't transfer his weight. Throws the ball 20 yards down the field to Cotchery, and then he makes some incredible moves. But what a play by Rivers as he steps up in the pocket.
They could close it out with a score here. McClendon in the eye. He's in. Touchdown, North Carolina State.
Wow, what an answer.
80 yards. 80 yards in what? 4 snaps?
Yeah. Manischewitz, that was one heck of a drive. Big play is key. And Chuck Amato, proud of his football team and his quarterback, Philip Rivers, answers the call once. I keep calling my own name. That's what it is. Philip Rivers answers the call, answers the bell once again. What a player.
In for the extra point to make it 45-31. Austin Herbert. So we do know the score. That's official. The time is very unofficial. A little more than 7 minutes to play. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Brought to you by Kia Sera, one company, countless solutions. By Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. The home of Buddy Holly. And walking around outside earlier today, they had a guitarist up on a bandstand, and he was sensational. And he was playing some old Buddy Holly tunes. He was great. That's where I got a hold of those sausages wrapped in the tortillas.
That's strong there, boy. I mean, you got a flavor of the area right there.
Well, great adjustment, as you mentioned, by Rivers to recognize the blitz off the edge.
And watch him step up into the little area that he had to step up and throws the ball as he's being hit and going down 20, 25 yards down the field accurately. And then Cotchery after the catch. Holy mackerel, what a run. That's just a great effort by quarterback and receiver. Both of them, gold star on the forehead right there.
McCann waiting for the kick, but it won't reach him. They've been going over to Bachman on a regular basis, and he lost it in the lights, I guess.
Yeah, he did. The sun.
Right into the sun.
Yeah, sun got him. He didn't touch it, though.
I don't think so. I think he missed it completely.
Yep, they get the ball at the 35.
So don't discount, as much as it is a 14-point lead. McClendon had to be the happiest because as Kiker kicked it away, looking back over his shoulder as well, McClendon, don't forget, gave up that fumble. It was translated into the 3rd consecutive score.
Right.
So now that is official on the board. 7-11 left in the game.
That's an eternity.
But you know what, they said that at a UNLV game recently against Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's an eternity in this kind of a shootout. Totally, it's an eternity. Man.
And let's face it, if they get the score onside.
Oh, yeah. And it's 4 down territory. Would they convert 3 4th downs, Joel, in that last touchdown drive?
2 by pass and 1 by penalty.
Oh!
Time again. And they're all over Page. Flag comes out. Page was mugged going down the middle of the field by Greg Golden. You see, that helps too. That stops the clock again.
No doubt. Golden made a play on the ball, but as you mentioned, with the other hand, was all over the body.
So 15 on that mark off to the midfield stripe.
North Carolina State kind of self-destructing defensively with penalty. Texas Tech has executed well, but North Carolina State has allowed them to move the chains multiple times here in the last 2 or 3 drives by penalty. No doubt about that.
And the spot of the foul is where they'll mark it. They won't give him 15, they'll give him 10 to the 45. In trouble. Throw to the feet of his running back. Good idea. He wanted to go downfield. He really wanted to go deep on that snap.
No doubt. He did. His eyes were lit up, but you got to give North Carolina State. If I'm North Carolina State, I'm staying in zone coverage, and I'm staying in the 2 deep. I'm having my safeties help my corners over the top. They still spread you. You know, I mean, this is their typical formation, 2 and 2.
Open it up. Give it off to your running back, and look out. There goes Henderson. Will he go the distance? No. Yes, maybe. No, he knocked out of bounds. He was knocked out of bounds.
Holt
barely.
Yeah, Holt got him just off balance enough, but he faked Holt out, but he lost the real estate. I mean, he was just tight roping that sideline. Holt not hit him well, but he just made him step out of bounds at the, what, 17-yard line?
And I said earlier, the team that's got the ball last is going to be the winner. I think it applies today.
Yeah, nice little stutter step, and Holt misses, but Henderson can't stay in.
Didn't take long to go from the 35 to the 17. First and end Kingsbury. A little dump off for Henderson. And Henderson chopped. Or make it Meeks, rather, the other running back, giving Henderson a break, but a gain of about 5 to the 12-yard line. High percentage play.
And really, in Texas Tech's offense, that's a running play, Joel. You know, when they check down like that to a back out of the backfield, it's like a long lateral. It's almost like a pitch out. And, you know, that's how they get their backs involved.
2nd and 5 from outside the 12. North Carolina State. Kingsbury into the end zone for Page. Intercepted. Yes.
Ooh,
taken away by Holt, who read it perfectly.
How about him?
Flag on the play, though. I think Page may have been grabbed on his way in.
Boy, what a big penalty this would be to take away the takeaway.
There's a lot of contact on Page.
Half the distance to the goal. 1st and goal.
Well, let's see. Because it was a jump ball situation to begin with.
See if anything happened. Are they calling the interference here even before the jump ball? I think they're calling Golden for grabbing.
Yes.
Yeah, Golden's got the right hand. He's grabbing Page's jersey right here, and he just separates from him. That's when the flag was thrown, well before Holt going airborne and making the play.
Yeah, he tried to grab him, there's no doubt.
He tried to grab him about the 5-yard line and curtail his route.
Henderson takes over on the toss sweep. He should get in. He will. 7-point game again if they get the extra point. I can't believe it.
And they got a penalty flag here. Celebration. Looks like a celebration penalty. I saw a flag come out.
Maybe a tortilla.
Yeah. It's a lot of corn in that tortilla. I thought there is in the end zone. There is a penalty, and the Red Raiders are of Raiders. It's a penalty in the end zone. Let's see if there's going to be a celebration call. They're talking it over. Personal foul on North Carolina State. You talk about a frustration foul. Whew. So that's another penalty. How many penalties has North Carolina State taken in the last 2 offensive drives for Texas Tech? It's been a huge factor. I mean, it's not only what Tech has done to North Carolina State, it's what they've done to themselves. They have to get themselves off their schedule. I mean, and it's been big plays. I mean, it's been, you know, 4th down for 1st down. It's been 3rd down for 1st down. And they've let drives continue that really shouldn't have if they hadn't been penalized.
Treese's last extra point, don't forget, he almost took it outside the upright. Is it 7? Yes. So, back to what we were talking about earlier. Only time is going to kill Texas Tech because they have not been stopped over the last 4 possessions.
I mean, about a minute, a little over a minute, exactly a minute. Didn't we say 7-11 on the clock at the beginning of that drive? They took that thing the length of the field in a minute. So you talk about a fast break offense now. This is showtime. This is the Lakers in the open court, baby. I mean, they're just like transition. It's transition football here.
This does nothing for the life expectancy, though, of Mike Leach. And on the other sideline,
man, this is not a real the defensive coaches look about. You know, going to look good showing to their team. And Chuck Amato is just...
They've traded quarters, though. I mean, a 7-point game at halftime, and they've traded 3rd and 4th quarters.
Right. Yep. One fell asleep in the third. And then Chuck Amato, he's talking to the officials. He said, look, my guys, how can they not be penalized for 3 quarters and then all of a sudden in the 4th quarter have 18,000 penalties? How can I have all those penalties in 1 quarter, guys? Come on, give me a break. That's what he's doing right now.
Now, the personal foul will be assessed.
There's the touchdown to Page. That was the first score of the 2nd half. Peterson finishing off a drive. And then this is the one in the back of the end zone that took so much time to Mickey Peters. And here we go, Henderson again. So, I mean, they've done 2 by pass, 2 by grounds. They've been effective in both areas. And Chuck Amato's still saying, come on. you guys keep your hankies in your pockets? You know, I mean, how many penalties are you going to throw on us in the fourth quarter today?
What about an onside kick right here? Because you're going to kick it the midfield stripe to begin with because of the personal foul.
Yeah, I think, look at this half. 8 penalties for 80 yards against North Carolina State. And I would venture to say 80% of them have been in the fourth quarter. Because in the third quarter, they dominated. I mean, they just took control of the game at that stage, and they weren't being penalized. I bet almost all of those have come in the fourth quarter here. And I agree with you, Joel. I think what they'll do, they may try that little pooch action, or else they'll angle the ball. Instead of onside, they may angle it and try to find a little opening at about the 20-yard line and see if they can fall on the football. The worst case scenario, what they want to do is pin North Carolina State back inside the 20-yard line and then make them 3 and out and punt the ball and get good field position. They only have 1 timeout left, but a just huge amount of time. 6 minutes and 10 seconds in college football for both of these offenses is an eternity to score.
Yeah, they're talking it over in front of the North Carolina State bench for some reason. There was a quick conversation with the special teams coach and Greathouse, which led us to believe that maybe they would try something. And you can also put it on the ground. You can put it on the ground so it's a squib just past the first wall
right,
of
exactly.
the Wolfpack. And now all of a sudden they're moving it back to the 35.
Yeah, what happened to the penalty? What about the personal foul after the touchdown? They didn't assess it on the kick, so now it should be assessed on the kickoff. And they did initially. Now it's being moved back. These guys have had a lot of meetings today. I mean, it's been a convention of zebras here. It hasn't been a clean operation for them, as well as either football team. I mean, everybody's made mistakes today, I think. And it's been a shootout. Bunch of yards, bunch of points, just like everybody expected.
Now, what a second half it's been for Cliff Kingsbury. He was below 200 midway through the third quarter. And you alluded to the fact those aren't normal numbers for Kingsbury, as it is going to be back at the 35-yard line. So maybe they're saying the foul wasn't a dead ball foul at all, the personal foul. But it was during the course of play, during the touchdown.
But they didn't, I don't think they assessed it on the extra point.
Well, they would, but it was declined. Because they got
it was
the
during
score.
the play.
Right.
I see what you're saying. It wasn't. I follow. It wasn't dead ball. It was during the. Yeah, they declined it and took the touchdown.
Exactly.
Obviously.
So that had to be the case. It was not a dead ball personal foul after the fact.
Right.
The last kick from Greathouse was a line drive he got a break on. It went down the sideline and went out of the end zone just once he got past the byline.
You know what? I think Chuck Amato may have talked the officials into that. You know, the big discussion was going on during this break with Chuck Amato. I think he was saying, was that when did that occur? Was that dead ball? Was that during the action? I mean, you know, who knows? Because we don't have the referee's microphone that we can hear, so we don't know how he called that penalty. But they initially assessed it on the kickoff and then took it away and took it back. So there was definitely confusion down there on the field. I think Chuck Amato may have lobbied for something and won.
Reed over to the far side. Golden back there with him. And Greathouse needs a good one. And over to the far side, actually, it's Golden from the 3. He had a big return earlier, looking for a seam that never opened up. And he's down around the 22. So good kick coverage. It'll be 1st and 10 for North Carolina State, leading by only 7. Brown, not McClendon, breaking tackles. Good job.
Jeez.
He wouldn't quit on the play, and he's got into the 25. It looked like he was going to lose about 3. He got away from Lamont Anderson, the senior from Irving, Texas.
Did he ever? And Lamont Anderson, now all he is 6'2", 292. You know, that's not some little weakling penetrating behind the line of scrimmage. That's a big man. And McClendon just shucked him like an ear of corn, man. He just threw him aside. It was unbelievable.
It'll be 2nd and about 7 from the 25. Rivers out of the gun. Peterson, the wide receiver, in the backfield with him. Trips. Where the safety has to pick up the slot man, but he backs off completely. Rivers, and throwing it at the feet of his intended target, right at the 30-yard line, Sterling Hicks. So the play never developed.
Rivers immediately goes to his backside receivers, both of them, to get information. He said, I went front side. Should I come back to you guys? My progression didn't take me back there. Were you open or not? And both of them shrugged their shoulders like, no, I wasn't available to you.
Now, what an assist, though, to stop the clock with more than 5 minutes to play. They help out Texas Tech. Now is Tech going to be ready? They come up to the line almost like they're confused.
11 men on the line of scrimmage. This guy's only 5 yards. Now they're backing off. As Rivers lifts his foot, they back out of there.
Blitz on Rivers off the edge. Puts it up for grabs. It's intercepted. Raymond Pierce inside the 20.
I'll tell you, the guy that put the pressure on was Aycock. Aycock came in there, and he made Rivers roll to his left and throw back across his body. He gets the big assist on the interception. Tremendous play.
I don't believe this.
I mean, Aycock gets the assist, and the interception goes to Pierce. Watch Aycock as he just takes the hit on Rivers. Rivers throwing back across his body. Not enough mustard on the throw. First takeaway by Texas Tech's defensive football team occurs with, 5 minutes to play in the game, and gives their offense a short field at the 19-yard line. What a play. What a game.
Red Raiders will have Kingsbury under his center this time, and Henderson has the single. 2 wide receivers to each side. What a shootout in West Texas. It'll be Henderson. He gets a seal over to the right side. Good yardage inside the 15 down to the 13. They'll say he was down inbounds, keeping the clock rolling.
Nothing fancy here, just try to take it to the edge. Look at the block. Receiver on defensive back, down the football field, moving the chains. You know, you're on schedule now, 2nd and 4. You pick up 6 yards on first down in the red zone like this, you're in high cotton.
Clock moving against Texas Tech, though. 4.5 to play. Now a change at the line for Cliff Kingsbury. Going into the corner for the tie. Touchdown, Anton Page.
Again, and Golden can't cover him. Golden's in coverage one-on-one, and Page, 6'4", makes it. Boy, the legend of Cliff Kingsbury lives on here. Look at the touch of this ball. Outside of Golden. Page at 6'4" and airborne. Golden at 6 feet and on the ground. Boy, just a tremendous throw by Kingsbury. All the way back they come if this extra point's successful. Amazing comeback.
Just when you had thought you'd seen it all, not quite yet. It is tied. So it's all even in Red Raider land. Down by 28 at one point. It's tied at 45.
And how about North Carolina State sustaining 8 penalties for 80 yards? I think most of those in the fourth quarter, at the end of the third and into the fourth quarter, where they just kind of self-destructed and let the drives continue for Texas Tech, and Tech finalized those drives for touchdowns. We may have 1,000 yards offense in this game, close to 500 for both teams when it's all done.
Now this is the second highest scoring game already in Texas Tech history. As Reed is over to the far side, Hicks over to the near side. Greathouse wobbles one out. Will it get to the end zone? No, and there's a huge break.
Yep.
We've seen that happen, and we talked about Greathouse getting breaks because it found the end zone on knuckleballs. This time he's not so fortunate.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden Rivers only about 2 or 3 first downs away from field goal territory.
And Greathouse pounded the turf at midfield in disgust and frustration, letting his teammates down, he feels, with that, just hooking that kick a little bit. Look at
this is
28 points.
This is the highest fourth quarter in Texas Tech history.
I thought this was going to be a problem. Well, not when you score 7 more in the next quarter than they did in the third. Jeez.
They had scored 24 against TCU in the fourth quarter back in '92. Never 28, though. And now a combined 90 points on the board. Most ever scored was their very first game ever, back in 1925 against Wayland, and they shut them out 120 to nothing.
That was a Seats corner.
McClendon won't get out of the backfield. Rodney McKinney belting the running back.
Tremendous penetration by McKinney, former defensive end. And really, when Duckett developed and got healthy enough to play defensive end, they slid him inside. And it improved the speed and the quickness of their defensive line immensely, and you saw it right there. Great first step penetration.
Inside of 4 to play. 2nd and 10 for Rivers, who's changing the play at the line. Only one timeout left for each team, don't forget. Will we go to overtime? Rivers on the quick read, and it's in and out of the hands. It may have been deflected to the line trying to get it, and Aycock may have gotten a piece of it before it got to Brian Peterson.
I agree with you, Joel. And Aycock on consecutive series, he was the one that forced the pressure on Rivers to make him throw the interception. Made him go to his left and throw back across his body. Aycock put the pressure on, and then he deflected that one. So being very aggressive, bringing that safety. They blitzed him consistently here in the last 2 series. Chuck Amato has to find an answer.
Play of the day. And Golden, the only one in the backfield, with Phillip Rivers. 3rd and 10, North Carolina State at their own 35. They pick up the blitz. He's got time, throwing into double coverage and overthrowing his man. He wanted Cotchery, who's not been a factor for the most part, except that big play in the 4th quarter. He had a great first half, but quiet in the second half. Hansen and Pierce converging at the right time.
And Texas Tech's defensive football team comes up with another big stand, 3 and out. And Rivers is hit just as he starts to deliver that football. Can't quite get the accuracy that he wanted. Hunt made the hit on him. Nice pressure again by Hunt. Makes him overthrow the football through it before he wanted to.
Now the punt by Herbert. Welker will take it near his own 20. 19-yard line for Wes Welker. They got a wall set up a little bit at the 30. Down the sideline, one more block. He gets into the 50, stumbles though, all the way to the 41-yard line.
Oh,
do you believe this?
Amazing wall created by Texas Tech. Boy, did they let Welker take advantage. Great blocking. And there was a pancake block at about midfield. Just a decleater that Welker hurdled over.
There is going to be, is there a celebration flag? No. They'll put it at the 41-yard line.
Look at the block. Great block there, sealing it. Another good block here. And then up the football field, as you see Welker making his cuts, there's going to be a decleater pancake block that Welker's going to hurdle right there. Welker has to hurdle that. Boy, just a great run.
Anderson, wide side of the field, gets a block to the kick outside. And is inbounds at about the 37, 36-yard line. The executive producer of Fox Sports Net is Bill Borson. Coordinating producers of College Football Saturday, Roy Hamilton, Gary Garcia. Today's game produced by Mike Helling and directed by Ken Fouts. College Football Saturday studio show produced by Loy Maxson, directed by Joe Whitus. Senior Vice President of Field Operations, Andrea Berry. And the Vice President of Field Operations, Karen Newman. Will it boil down to a field goal try by Treese?
And he's thinking about it. He's saying, get me close, guys. I'll finish this thing. Actually, with 2.5 minutes, it's far from over.
They're setting up with Henderson, making a miss. He's got a first down. Now the ultimate, of course, setting it up so that North Carolina State does not touch the football again today. Coming up for some of you along our Fox Sports Net, it'll be the Big 12 post-game report. And Spike Dykes is probably living large right now, getting ready for that Big 12 post-game report.
Treese trying to collect his thoughts. You know, a little water, calm down, calm the nerves, think about the mechanics, the follow-through.
Treese again. Waiting for the pursuit. Make it Henderson, rather. The pursuit sliding by. And he's got almost 5, down to the 25.
You know, I don't think Treese would have a problem if Texas Tech's offense, as you described, Joel, eats all the time off the clock and scores in the final play of the game. I don't think it would bother that young man at all.
Well,
but he's getting ready, though.
Coming into this contest, North Carolina State had only given up 14 fourth-quarter points over their first 4 games combined. Anderson, he's running out of room. And good pursuit down the line, dropping him right at the original line, maybe a loss of a yard. If they kicked it without another yard, it would be close to a 43 to 44-yard attempt.
Coming into this football game, North Carolina State had only given up 88 yards passing a game and 225 total yards a game. They've given up about 500 at this point against Texas Tech.
I'm surprised Treese is not at least kicking into the net yet.
And Treese, let's see if with the snap here, it would be about a 42-yard, 43-yard field goal. His career long is 45 yards, which he executed this season. We have an injury.
Well, let's face it, when he hit His field goal earlier today from 38 yards out, it was good from better than 50.
Right.
He got that much into it.
But he has been a little dicey on some extra points.
Hey, it was early in the game, too.
Right.
There wasn't a lump in his throat. It looked like the first turnover by Kingsbury was going to be a costly one.
And there you have Holt forcing the fumble that was big. And here you have the fumble, the center quarterback exchange that Sean Price took to the house for a touchdown, a defensive score that was so large. And then on the ensuing kickoff, man, just another forced fumble, recovery short field. McClendon put it on the ground in Texas Tech's comeback. Then the big one, Aycock forces Rivers to throw the interception to Pierce. And that ended up in another touchdown that tied the game. 3 takeaways for North Carolina State, only 1 for Texas Tech, but it is a tie football game.
Now do they gamble and put it up or keep it on the ground with Henderson? Play fake, gambling, almost making a miss in the backfield, and he did eventually make a miss. But a great job by Kingsbury to take it even closer. It looked like he was going to lose about 4 or 5. Instead, he's got it down to the 21. So now they kick it, and they will. It's 4th down coming up. It'll be right about a 39-yard attempt.
What an ad lib.
Incredible footwork, though. We talked about it earlier. He's not quick. He's just real nifty on his feet.
He showed a little bit of change of direction there, and he does. I mean, he's got the quickest feet of the quarterbacks, the big 3 that Mike Leach has coached. We've talked about it before. He's got quicker feet than Couch, quicker feet than Heupel. He can run and he can change direction the best. And
a good job by North Carolina State. Very aware clock management wise that they had to use this timeout to, if it's a 3-point game, at least they'll have a chance to get back into field goal range.
39 seconds. It comes down to special teams. We talked about how important they were, and they were important all day today, dictating field position and long field, short field, hidden yards. But it's going to come down to an actual kick to determine this football game.
So down 38-10 with a little under 7 minutes to play in the third. Now Robert Trees trying to give Texas Tech their first lead of the game since the first quarter when they were on top 7-0. And that was 4 minutes into the game. It is going to be put down to the 29, a 39-yard try. He's already got a 38-yarder today. It'll come out of the hole to the punter, Clinton Greathouse.
And it's good that it's on the left hash mark and not the right. Midfield or left hash mark is where you want to be.
For the lead, and he hooked it.
Wow.
North Carolina State's prayers are answered. So a missed 39-yard field goal. And it looks like OT.
Overtime on the horizon, unless Rivers can make a play that
without a doubt.
And
now they get it back. Solid field position.
Sure.
They're out of timeout, so they may not want to gamble.
Yeah, I wonder how Chuck's going to, on the road, I think that he'll play it close to the vest and take it into overtime. I'm not sure he's going to try to do any trickery here or anything fancy that could result in tragedy. But you never know. You never know with Chuck Amato. Like he said at the very beginning, we're not going to play this game not to lose. We're going to play this game to win it.
3 wide receivers, 2 on the wide side. And just popped the running back out. He's still in bounds, McClendon. So he's going to play it safe that deep in his own territory. And they will go to the overtime and take their chances in the extra session. So we've seen it all, and now we're going to see some more after 60 minutes of regulation.
Boy, we're looking at, well, there's 90 points on the board right now, and there's got to be awfully close to 1,000 yards offense between these two teams, if not there. It's got to be close. Amazing shootout that everybody thought would happen has taken place.
So now we'll get the coin toss to see who has the option. Captains will meet at midfield once again. And of course, you want the option so that you can know what you have to do. And you can see what your opponent has done.
The guy that right now feels about as bad as you can feel as Treese. I mean, he's hoping for an opportunity in overtime to win the game for his football team.
Determine the outcome.
Sure. And he has to have selective amnesia.
Now,
he has to forget the bad play and focus on the future.
Well, unfortunately, referee Hal Dowden's microphone has not worked all day. So we'll get ready for the coin toss as the officials meet at midfield.
And they're hydrated. You know, it's hot down there for them as well.
Oh, it's been 100 degrees on the field.
Look at that. They get the chest cooled off a little bit. Now take a little drink. Got to hydrate. Got to replace those fluids.
This was everything we expected. Well, here's the difference. This is the reason we're going to overtime. And I had mentioned Treese was hooking it on his extra points the entire afternoon, especially in the second half.
You're right, Joel, and he did it again. I mean, he cozied it up there, and oh boy, just about a yard wide to that left upright, and took it too far left.
Yeah, last year there was one overtime game for Texas Tech, and they lost in overtime to Kansas 34-31.
I think Chuck's still talking to the officials about, boy, how many flags did you guys throw on us in the fourth quarter? Come on now. My team's not that bad. How can my team execute so well for 3 quarters and then all of a sudden fall apart in your guys' eyes so much in the fourth quarter?
Now you want to win, and then you defer because you want the other team to go first, so you know what you need.
You got Holt and Kingsbury out there, it looks like, for the toss. Guys, 2 guys that have played great football games, no question about it, and it's not over yet.
The option belonging to Kingsbury.
Yeah, he won the toss. He's saying, what do you want me to do?
I thought that was discussed before they even went out there.
Right.
So here we go. Overtime on its way on Fox Sports Net between Texas Tech and North Carolina State. No way, midway through the third quarter, we thought we were going to see overtime today. It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. What was it, 38-10 with, what'd you say, Joe, a little over 7 minutes to go in the third quarter?
It was 38-10, just inside. 6:58 left in the third, and the clock was working. That was official. We'll take a final timeout, come right back, and get ready for the extra session in Lubbock. It falls incomplete. Great shot from behind by George Anderson.
Man, that's one that'll bend you right in half, and you could sustain an injury on that blind side like that, but he is tough.
Well, after the coin toss, possession for each at the 25-yard line. And repeating, and everybody's used to it now until one team comes out and either stops the opponent completely or scores where the other has had a field goal. The opposition may get a touchdown. If both get touchdowns, both get field goals, we go to the next overtime. Now, I just talked about Missouri's injured lineman Keck for Texas Tech. North Carolina State 5-2, so much more experience in overtime games. Only the second time for Texas Tech to play an extra session. North Carolina State has taken 3 out of their last 4. They did lose their last one 2 years ago, though, at Maryland.
And if
that was in double overtime, 35-28.
If it does get to 6 possessions, if each team possesses the ball 6 times in overtime, you have to go for 2. So we'll see if it gets to that point.
Is that like a 2-engine plane? 2nd and 10. Out of the gun. And available, but wide of the intended target, Mickey Peters.
Remember the Arkansas-Mississippi game last year, Joel, that went into the 7th overtime and had to go for 2, and Arkansas knocked down the 2-point conversion pass from Eli Manning and won the football game. That was a monster.
Well, now 3rd and 10. Can they get closer for Treese? If they can't get a first down, right now it'd be a 42-43-yard attempt. And he's got bad thoughts in the back of his mind right now, Robert Treese.
Well, if he makes it, they're cleansed, though.
Pocket holds up well, and a first down. Peters gets it. Ball on the ground, but it was caused by the ground at the 13. 1st and 10. Julius Patterson finally catching up. But boy, in the clutch moments, he is gone to junior Mickey Peters.
Peters limping off the field a little bit as he was taken down from behind. Pretty good job by the offensive line of sorting out the stunts and the blitz. And you can see he kind of twisted that right ankle a little bit as he was taken to the turf. But Kingsbury, how many plays when he's had to absolutely make the play, 3rd and 4th down, as he stepped up and done it? He's been immense.
From the 13, toss wide side. Henderson put it on the ground. Did he get it back? I believe he did. What a break. It popped right back to him.
Man, showtime. Fast break dribble in the open court. I mean, for the pigskin to bounce that cleanly and truly is incredible for Henderson. No contact, just never had the ball, secured the ball on the pitch out. Boy, it's just, you talk about a fortuitous bounce. Man, he's living right.
Now 2nd and 10 from the 13. He took some shots at the bottom of that ball. I think they may give him this play off, except for a chip here or there. Although he's wide open out of the backfield, they go the other way. At the 10, Welker popped at the 8. And boy, was Henderson. He was uncovered out of the backfield. Lamont Reed makes a stop, but
they lost track of him.
You said it. They were locked in. Kingsbury was only going to one man, and that was Welker.
Well, here he is again. How many 3rd downs in a quarter and a half has Kingsbury converted, and 4th downs? And his percentage has been phenomenal. Let's see if he can get it done again. Because Texas Tech, they don't want to settle for field goal. They want to pump this thing into the end zone and make North Carolina State put the pressure on them to answer.
So 3rd and a little less than 5. Ball inside the 8. A bunch of on the wide side. Timeout taken, but a flag comes down. Did the play clock go down to 0? An official came in. They said timeout before the play clock expired. So no flag. They'll put it back into the pocket. Tight quarters and a real interesting formation by Kingsbury to begin with, where he stacked his 2 wide receivers on the wide side of the field.
And there's the man. He's obviously going to get another opportunity to kick a field goal. Worst case scenario, Robert Treese, but I'm sure once again he would not mind at all if Kingsbury could get the offense in the end zone. He'd try out there and kick an extra point. Particularly after how his, what was it, a third? They didn't get the timeout called in time. They did mark off 5 yards against Texas Tech. So it's going to be 3rd and 9. Coach Leach disputing the fact that Kingsbury got the timeout called before the clock ran down, the play clock. But he lost the argument.
So now back to the 13.
How long was Treese's miss, Joel? 39, was it?
39 yards away. He had plenty of distance.
Yeah, he did.
It started right at the upright. It was hooking. So now ball security. You've got to take care of it. If you can't get the 1st down, you go for the field goal and then put the heat on North Carolina State. On 3rd down, Kingsbury out of the gun. Pocket collapsing.
Can't take a sack.
He's looking for Page. He don't pick up the grabs. Was it a late hit? They don't get the flag they were looking for. Burnett got to Kingsbury. And here comes Treese. You can't come up empty in overtime.
Now Treese has to just concentrate on his mechanics. Now there are 3 phases to a successful kick. Good snap, good hold, and then the kicker has to execute.
He is 1 of 2 for the afternoon. He is 4 for 7 on the season. And this is going to be a 33-yard attempt as they get a player on very late.
This is inexcusable. I mean, you got to know that you're on the field goal team.
Out of the hold of Greathouse. Can he get it done this time? 33-yard attempt on its way. And it's good.
I think the guy that ran on late, the big offensive lineman that ran on late, Reed, I think he was the guy, Keck, who got hurt during the drive. I think he took Keck's place. But now, you get an opportunity to redeem yourself is all you can ask for. Snap, hold, and kick. Good snap, perfect hold. The kick is finalized. Boy, that was, good pressure off the edge from North Carolina State. Hudson almost got it. Hudson sold out and almost got his hand on that thing. Watch Hudson sell out. Ooh, boy, just a skosh short.
Well, and it's Terrence Holt, who has 12 blocks in his career. But Hudson from the opposite side. So now 1st and 10. North Carolina State. 3-point lead for Texas Tech. So first overtime session. McClendon. Big yardage all the way down inside the 15, first down. Raymond Pierce, the free safety, gets to him. Don't forget it's over. North Carolina State gets into the end zone. It is all over.
Joseph Gray, the big tight end. Excellent block at the line of scrimmage. He just tied his linebacker up and wasn't going to let him go. And got McClendon to the perimeter.
Tight quarters. Do they sell out on the run? On 1st and 10 from the 14. Two tight ends, a single to each side. McClendon again, picking his own hole to the 10. Down to the 5. He's close to another first down. Seems like, Dave, only a matter of time.
And doing nothing fancy, just taking the ball and hammering it in there, power football. You know, just ran inside zone both times. And just coming off the line of scrimmage well as an offensive line. Chuck Amato likes the physical nature of his group up front, particularly after he brought a couple of defensive linemen over there to be a little nasty playing that guard position.
2nd and a yard. Rivers adjusting. McClendon loses in the backfield. Lamont Anderson with a penetration, and it's a 2-yard loss. How big was that play?
That was huge. Breakdown up front. The offensive line, talk about just a torpedo. And he just shot through that line of scrimmage, basically untouched. And that's when you get a running back hurt. Lamont Anderson, 6'2", 292 pounds, a shot put with legs. That's got quickness.
So now 3rd and about 3.5, and a timeout is going to be taken. We saw Tech do it. Now North Carolina State will use their timeout. They had won 3 consecutive overtime games. 99 against Duke on the road, and at home 2 years ago against Arkansas State and Georgia Tech before losing. They had 3 overtime games in 2000, went 2-1. Arkansas State, Georgia Tech victories, and then a loss on the road at Maryland in 2 overtimes, 35-28.
Chuck Amato disappointed about that run by McClendon being thrown for a 2-yard loss.
Now this would be the 7th time in 111 years of NC State football if they do raise their record to 5-0. UMass coming up next, then the bulk of the ACC schedule.
Yep, they get
and
right
even though
into
North Carolina was tomahawked by the Texas Longhorns, North Carolina playing a pretty good level right now.
And they got to go to Clemson, tough. Maryland, got to go to Maryland, tough. They got Florida State at home, but after beating them, the first conference opponent to beat Florida State in Tallahassee, that's going to be tough. But boy, he'd like to be unblemished going into that Florida State game with Chuck Amato, but tough road to hoe there.
Now do you gamble? Do you put it up or just give it to McClendon, knowing you got a chip shot field goal to go to the next overtime?
I think you get Rivers out of pocket, give him a run pass option, change the launch point a little bit because they're going to be blitzing up the middle on him.
The toss sweep to the short side of the field. McClendon's got the first down and close to the touchdown. He's in. North Carolina State wins. It is fitting, though. It was T.A. McClendon because he carried so much of the load all day for the Wolfpack.
And I'll tell you, once again, the big tight ends really came through for North Carolina State. And they blocked so effectively. Joe Gray once again securing the edge for McClendon.
So just inside the pylon, McClendon got there from 8 yards away.
Yeah, good luck to you. Thank you. You two, your kids never, ever quit. And what you said in the paper?
Yeah, Chuck Amato, that was interesting. Your kids never, ever quit. Neither did his. Both these teams played with a lot of heart. And McClendon, man, he has got a bright future ahead of him. Nice look at the tight ends right there, double teaming and just washing everything to the edge. And McClendon taking advantage of that. That's just power football. Tight ends right here. Double team, rub to the next level. McClendon stay in bounds, take it inside the pylon, and just breaks the plane. What a play by McClendon.
As
nice
you
block.
said, initials TA for touchdown anytime. He scores the game winner. It was his third, making it his fourth touchdown run of the contest. As T.A. McClendon is our Dr. Pepper player of the game. Phillip Rivers, also one of our players of the game, throwing for 301 yards, 20 through 32.
Rivers and Kingsbury talking to each other at midfield, congratulating each other on a tremendous performance, and a lot of mutual respect there from two outstanding quarterbacks. Outstanding. Boy, what a game. What an effort by North Carolina State and Texas Tech.
And partner, I will not forget this. After being down 38-10, Texas Tech, as Chuck Amato said, your players never, ever quit. You could pick up on that.
Yep.
When he had his conversation with Mike Leach. Don't forget, next Saturday, more college football, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. College Football Saturday kickoff show with Chris Rose, Kellen Winslow, Artie Gigantino, and Pac-10. Pac-10 matchup, Oregon State and USC. And for some of you now, the Big 12 postgame report is coming up next. College Football Saturday has been a presentation of Fox Sports Net. Now for Dave Lapham and Jim Knox, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us. An unforgettable one taken by NC State on the road.